Chapter 604. The holy ground is open. Let's go. Everyone cried out in surprise. Their eyes were filled with incomparable excitement as they leaped into the sky one after another. The ancient door in the sky seemed to be the other side of the starry sky. It was shrouded in bright starlight and looked mysterious. Swoosh! The sky-scorching demon emperor's eyes shone brightly as he turned into a beautiful ray of light and rushed into the ancient door. Rumble! Lin Hui, Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and the rest followed suit and rushed into the holy ground. The 1,000-year event, the inheritance of the demon saint. All the experts of the demon tribe went crazy as their eyes were filled with excitement. There were countless treasures in the holy ground. There was a land of fortune, a supreme opportunity to prove one's Tao, and the legendary inheritance of the demon saint. No one was willing to be outdone as they rushed into the holy ground one after another. The door to the holy ground is random. Everyone, be careful. Ling Xiao, Phoenix Woman, and Taoist Wuliang looked at each other and rushed into the holy ground. Although Ling Xiao had the heavenly god's stone in his hands and could bring them all into the holy ground, the fewer people who knew about the heavenly god's stone, the better. Otherwise, the rumor of Ling Xiao obtaining the scarlet dragon war god would be completely confirmed. Taoist Wuliang did not choose to go with Ling Xiao. He said mysteriously that he was going to find his own opportunity and meet up with Ling Xiao later. Everyone entered the holy ground. On the holy mountain, 108 stars revolved around it. The ancient door emitted an immortal and mysterious light. At this moment, a light flashed in the distance. Zhao Ritian, who was wearing a golden robe and a jade crown, appeared on the holy mountain riding on a golden eyes beast. Second uncle, it seems like we're too late. Those people have already entered the holy ground. Zhao Ritian looked at the empty holy mountain and muttered to himself. Don't worry about them. Even if they enter the holy ground, they won't be able to obtain the final inheritance. Ritian, listen to me. The inheritance of the demon saint will belong to you. Second uncle's voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. Second uncle, I have a pure human bloodline and the sun saint body. Can the inheritance of the demon saint really choose me? Although Zhao Ritian was excited, he was still doubtful. Second uncle chuckled and said, Don't worry. I'm very familiar with the demon saint. If I say the inheritance is yours, no one can take it away from you. What if we meet Ling Xiao this time? Thinking of Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian instinctively felt a little scared. Why should I be afraid of him? In the future, you will be the Sun Sky Supreme who will rule the world. If you really meet him, kill him and take his wordless heavenly book. Second eldest uncle said heroically. Ha ha ha. Good, I'll kill that bastard Ling Xiao. Let's see if he dares to go against me. Zhao Ritian was also in high spirits. He rode on the void golden-eyed beast and disappeared into the door. Ling Xiao appeared in a valley. This was an extremely huge valley. The mountain was tens of thousands of meters tall, towering into the clouds. It emitted an ancient and desolate aura. The valley was shrouded in a faint white mist. It looked very peaceful. Ancient trees towered into the sky, surrounded by old vines, and all kinds of strange flowers and herbs emitted a faint fragrance. Ling Xiao's sudden appearance immediately startled a little fellow. Bang! Ling Xiao saw a huge rock fly up. Below the rock was a white and fat radish. It ran and cursed at the same time. Damn it, you scared me to death. You little bastard, just you wait. I'll kill you sooner or later. The big radish was extremely fast. It was like a bolt of white lightning, shooting out of the valley in an instant. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had just arrived in the holy ground and had not had time to familiarize himself with the surroundings. In the end, he was scolded by a big radish. However, when Ling Xiao took a closer look, he realized that it was not a big radish. It was actually a legendary supreme divine medicine. Great bright King Ginseng. Trying to run. Stay here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He immediately used the Great Shift Mystique and chased after the big radish. The Great Bright King Ginseng was one of the legendary supreme divine medicine. It could allow a supreme martial artist to live another life. It contained an earth-shattering supreme fortune. It looked like a big radish on the outside. It was white and fat, crystal clear and flawless. It had the ability to fly and burrow into the ground. It was extremely difficult to catch. Moreover, the Great Bright King Ginseng had disappeared from the God of War continent a long time ago. However, when Ling Xiao took a closer look, he realized that the Great Bright King Ginseng was not a supreme divine medicine. It was only a quasi-divine medicine. He did not expect it to evolve and have intelligence. It could even scold people. This made Ling Xiao speechless. Ling Xiao used the Great Shift Mystique. He was like a bolt of golden lightning. His speed was extremely fast and he was getting closer and closer to the Great Bright King Ginseng. You little bastard, why are you chasing after me? Go home and drink milk. I'm not someone you can catch up to. Ha ha ha. When the Great Bright King Ginseng saw that Ling Xiao was chasing after it, it immediately ran and mocked him. It was extremely arrogant. However, in the next moment, it could not laugh anymore. That was because it felt that Ling Xiao's speed was faster than it even when it used all its strength. Ling Xiao was catching up with it rapidly. Go ahead and scold me. Why aren't you scolding anymore? Let me think, when I catch you, how should I eat you? Should I fry you or stew you? Or should I stew you with the meat of demonic beasts? The taste should be pretty good. Ling Xiao said with a cold smile. This Great Bright King Ginseng was really arrogant. Since that was the case, if Ling Xiao did not catch it, he would be letting it down. The Great Bright King Ginseng's body stiffened as if it was frightened. It immediately let out a strange cry and turned into a beam of white light, drilling into the ground. It's useless even if you drill into the ground. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and rushed into the ground as well. The teleportation secret technique contained all kinds of fortunes. The greater teleportation divine ability that Ling Xiao had comprehended contained the wonders of the 5 elements escape technique. It could be said that traversing through the earth was like walking on flat ground. Sensing that Ling Xiao was getting closer, the Great Bright King Ginseng was scared out of its wits. It should be known that even those half-step demonic venerables could not catch up with it. The Great Bright King Ginseng's speed was unparalleled in the world. As for the Great Bright King Ginseng, which had evolved into a divine medicine, it could shuttle through the void and travel thousands of miles in an instant. Even primeval experts would have a hard time catching it. It did not expect to meet a freak who was even faster than it. Help! The Great Bright King Ginseng shouted at the top of its lungs, letting out a miserable shriek that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. It rushed out of the ground again and shuttled through the endless mountain range at an extremely fast speed. It even used all its strength. Help! You better come over to me obediently. Don't worry, I won't eat you all at once. Look at your white and fat appearance. You can even be stewed a few times. Ling Xiao followed behind the Great Bright King Ginseng unhurriedly. However, his words made the Great Bright King Ginseng's scalp numb. It was incomparably terrified. I call you grandfather. You are my grandfather. I don't taste good. I really don't taste good. Grandfather, go and look for other divine medicines. There are so many spiritual items in the holy ground. Why do you keep staring at me? Chapter 605. Ling Xiao and the Great Bright King Ginseng chased after each other. They flew past a desolate mountain range and covered more than 10,000 miles in the blink of an eye. Grandfather, ancestor, please forgive me. Just treat me like a fart and let me go. The Great Bright King Ginseng begged for mercy. Let you go. Didn't you enjoy scolding me? Originally, I didn't intend to capture you. However, since you are so cocky, I have to teach you how to behave. No, I mean how to make divine herbs. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Light flashed under his feet, and the runes were extremely bright. He was only about 10,000 feet away from the great bright King Ginseng. However, Ling Xiao was still amazed. The great bright King Ginseng's speed was really fast. If he didn't practice the secret teleportation technique, even a half-step supreme being wouldn't be able to catch up with it. The great bright King Ginseng's body stiffened. He wanted to cry but had no tears. He regretted it so much. Why was he so cocky? He usually relied on his speed and was used to scolding the demonic beasts that coveted him. However, he didn't expect to run into a ghost when he walked at night. Now, he offended Ling Xiao, who chased him until he had nowhere to run. After flying past a desolate mountain range, a vast lake appeared before him. The sky-blue lake was like a mirror. It was dazzling and gave off a mysterious glow. It was misty and looked like a fairyland. The great bright King Ginseng's eyes lit up. This fiend knows the earth evasion technique. Could it be that he also knows the water evasion technique? The great bright King Ginseng dived into the lake. Boom! A bright and resplendent light erupted. The symbols were resplendent and dazzling. A huge golden net flew out from the lake and instantly bound the great bright monarch Ginseng before it flew into the sky. Ha ha ha! I finally caught the dragon-whiskered fish. Hey, it isn't the dragon-whiskered fish. It looks like a spirit herb. Why does it look like a big radish? Does anyone recognize this spirit herb? Waves rose around the lake. A few black-robed youths rushed out of the lake. The leader was a black-robed old man. His white hair fluttered in the wind, and he had a dignified expression. A light flashed in his hand, and the golden net landed in his hand. A glint flashed across the eyes of the few young men. When they saw the great bright King Ginseng in the golden net, they asked doubtfully. They were in this lake to catch the ancient variant dragon-whiskered fish, but they did not expect to catch a big radish instead of a dragon-whiskered fish. I'm just a big radish, not some spiritual medicine. You've got the wrong person. Please let me go, my lords. The great Wisdom King had a long face. He had just escaped from the tiger's den, and now he had fallen into the wolf's den. These fellows didn't look like good people. This looks like the legendary Deming King Ginseng. A supreme divine medicine. The black-robed old man's eyes flashed. He seemed to have thought of something and became extremely excited. What? Unparalleled divine medicine. Although those black-robed youths did not know what the great bright King Ginseng was, the words, supreme divine medicine, made them tremble as if they had been injected with chicken blood. I've never seen a spirit herb that can talk before. It's indeed a supreme divine medicine. It actually has such a strong spiritual intelligence. Ha ha ha, supreme divine medicine. If we give it to the young clan leader, we'll have done a great service. Perhaps the young clan leader will be able to become a sovereign and obtain the demonic saint's inheritance after swallowing this big radish. Many black-robed youths were excited. Everyone, this big radish is mine. I've chased after it for so long, but it ended up in your hands. Don't you think you should return it to me? An indifferent voice resounded. Ling Xiao descended from the sky. His white robe fluttered in the wind as he smiled and looked at the black-robed youths. The black-robed youths were filled with demonic aura. They were the experts from the nine-headed snakelet tribe. All of them were at level 9 noble realm, and the old man who led them was at level 9 monarch realm. You are Ling Xiao. When the black-robed youths saw Ling Xiao, they were shocked and immediately recognized Ling Xiao's identity. Legend had it that Ling Xiao had killed Holy Venerable Nan, slaughtered the 3 stars of Star Palace, and defeated the 6th Holy Son of Emperor Tomb Mountain. He was extremely powerful. However, the 9-headed snakelet tribe had never seen Ling Xiao in action. Furthermore, Ling Xiao looked like he was only at level 9 noble realm. There was nothing special about him. Ling Xiao, this isn't a big radish. This is the great bright King Ginseng. It wasn't easy for us to get this treasure. I'm afraid it has nothing to do with you, right? The leading black-robed old man's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. If it was an ordinary spiritual herb, it would be fine. However, this was the great bright king ginseng, a quasi-sage medicine. They couldn't give it up no matter what. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, I've chased the great bright king ginseng for tens of thousands of miles. I'm afraid it's not right for you to take advantage of me. Hand it over and I'll let you go. Ling Xiao, you're only at level 9 noble realm. What's there to be arrogant about? That's right. You think you can kill Holy Venerable Nan? It seems like the legend is wrong. The other black-robed young men from the 9 infant clan laughed coldly. A trace of a fierce glow and killing intent appeared in the black-robed old man's eyes, and all of them instantly surrounded Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, you actually dared to covet the treasure of my 9 infant clan? You're courting death. Kill him. The black-robed old man suddenly shouted fiercely, and he was the first to charge at Ling Xiao. Rumble. His cultivation at the 9th level of the monarch realm erupted completely as he slapped his palm forward. A peerlessly dazzling black divine light seemed to have transformed into a black ocean that smashed down towards Ling Xiao. You want to kill me after taking my great bright king ginseng? You really don't know what's good for you. Ling Xiao sighed softly while a trace of a fierce glow suddenly appeared in his eyes. Rumble. The vital blood within his body seethed as a golden glow erupted. It was like a primeval ferocious beast had awakened in an instant, and it emanated an extremely terrifying aura. Ling Xiao smashed his fist forward with boundless dragon pressure. Crack. The black-robed old man's expression changed drastically as he felt a wave of heart-piercing pain assault him. His arm instantly exploded into a mist of blood. Ling Xiao's fist didn't lose momentum at all as it smashed his heart into pieces. After that, the sky-devouring golden lotus swept out and devoured the black-robed old man's soul core. The other black-robed young men were terrified when they saw Ling Xiao deal with the black-robed old man in such a straightforward manner. Only now did they understand that Ling Xiao really did possess the strength to kill Holy Venerable Nan. However, they understood it too late. Rumble. Ling Xiao instantly smashed out a few dozen punches, causing dazzling light to explode. Those black-robed young men actually didn't even have the chance to make a sound before they were blasted into a mist of blood. What a fucking maleficent existence. I'm in trouble. The great bright king ginseng had a long face as he felt that his life was covered in darkness. The golden net buzzed and trembled, and it intended to fly away. How can a mere supreme-grade Dao artifact escape? A cold light flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes. He guessed that the golden net might be the treasure of the young clan leader of the 9 infants tribe. It could be considered to be spiritual, which was why it wanted to fly back to its owner after losing control. Ling Xiao's powerful soul core exploded and instantly erased the soul core imprint on the golden net. Heavenly snare. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. It was indeed a supreme-grade Dao artifact. No wonder it could capture the great bright king ginseng. Ling Xiao grabbed the great bright king ginseng from the heavenly snare and casually threw the heavenly snare into the heaven god stone. Let go of me, let go of me. I'd rather die than submit. You bastard, I won't let you off even if I become a ghost. The great bright king ginseng struggled in Ling Xiao's hands with all his might. His white and plump body twisted as though he knew what was going to happen to him. He started to curse Ling Xiao. Chapter 606. Oh, you have some backbone. Initially, I wanted to spare your life. Looks like I have no choice but to eat you now. Ling Xiao looked at the great bright king ginseng with a half-smile. The great bright king ginseng froze. He quickly squeezed out a smile and said, I was wrong. Little ancestor, I was really wrong. Please forgive me. Don't eat me. I don't taste good at all. I'm old and my teeth are clumsy. I know there are many treasures in the holy ground. Let me go and I'll bring you to catch those guys. Looking at the great bright king ginseng, who had no integrity, Ling Xiao was speechless. He did not know how such a weird great bright king ginseng could be born. For an ordinary spiritual medicine to evolve to be as intelligent as a human, it had to be at least at the level of a divine medicine. Although the quasi-divine medicine had some intelligence, an old ruffian like the great bright king ginseng was one of a kind. As if afraid that Ling Xiao would not believe him, the great bright king ginseng quickly said, "Little ancestor, there is an ancient variant of the dragon-whiskered fish in this lake. It contains a trace of the bloodline of the real dragon and is extremely beneficial for increasing the strength of the physical body." The great bright king ginseng was crying in his heart. He was really unlucky today. He did not expect to end up in the hands of this malefic star. Dragon-whiskered fish. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. The dragon-whiskered fish was indeed an ancient variant and extremely precious spiritual fish. It contained a trace of the bloodline of the real dragon and could allow the bloodline of demonic beasts to evolve and strengthen the physical body. It was no wonder that those guys from the 9 Infants tribe were here to catch the dragon-whiskered fish. Ling Xiao checked the primordial spirit of the black-robed old man from the 9 Infants tribe and realized that there was indeed a dragon-whiskered fish in this lake. The great bright king ginseng was not lying. "Looks like you are of some use. In that case, I will spare your life for now." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "Thank you, little ancestor. I will definitely search the entire holy ground for you and capture those sage medicines, divine medicines, spiritual roots, and spiritual fruits for you." The great bright king ginseng was overjoyed and quickly expressed his loyalty. "Don't make it sound so nice. You should have evolved into a medical deity, right? Give me your mark of the medical deity and I will let you go." Ling Xiao looked at the great bright king ginseng. The great wisdom king ginseng's expression immediately turned bitter, as if he had just eaten a dead child. The divine medicine was the primordial spirit of the divine medicine. If he handed over the divine medicine mark, it meant that he would completely recognize Ling Xiao as his master. He would not be able to escape even if he wanted to. However, the current situation was not that strong. If it did not hand over the drug god's brand, it did not doubt that this fiend would really destroy it. The great light king ginseng had a long face. An ancient talisman flew out of his body. It was as white as jade and contained a fluctuation of divinity. Ling Xiao immediately integrated it into his sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao nodded in satisfaction and said, "Not bad, you didn't lie to me. Don't worry, as long as you work hard and show your value, I won't eat you. On the contrary, I'll even find the essence of the origin and help you break through to the divine medicine realm." "Really?" The listless great wisdom king ginseng immediately became excited as if he had been injected with chicken blood. "Of course it's real. In the future, in order to prevent others from recognizing you, you will be called Big Radish. Keep your ginseng roots." Ling Xiao said with a smile. "Big Radish? This name is too unpleasant. Can you change it?" The great wisdom king ginseng immediately became listless. "No." Ling Xiao rejected decisively. "Big Radish it is then." "Master, those dragon-beard fish are very cunning. Those idiots wanted to use the net to catch the dragon-beard fish. They won't be able to catch them even if they have another 100 years. The great wisdom king ginseng should be called Big Radish now. It could adjust its mentality. It was already very lucky to be able to keep its life. In order to show its value, it immediately started to express its loyalty. "Oh. What idea do you have?" "It's actually very simple. The dragon-beard fish loves to eat dragon-beard grass. There must be dragon-beard grass in the valleys around the lake. As long as we use the dragon-beard grass as bait, we will definitely catch them." Knowing that its life was in Ling Xiao's hands, Big Radish gave up on the thought of escaping. It kept its ginseng roots and really looked like a white and fat big radish. It sat on Ling Xiao's shoulder and said proudly, "Dragon-beard grass." Ling Xiao smiled. He knew the method to catch the dragon-beard fish. However, seeing that Big Radish was working so hard, he did not expose it. Ling Xiao's figure flashed and swept into the valleys around. Soon, he found the dragon beard grass. The dragon beard grass was dazzling with golden light. Its leaves were thin and long, like the whiskers of a real dragon, emitting a faint glow. Ling Xiao quickly picked dozens of dragon beard grass and returned to the lake. It's too tiring to catch them one by one. Watch me do something big. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. The true devouring fire in his palm spread out. The dragon beard grass started to melt, forming a golden elixir essence. Ling Xiao took out some strong demonic beast's blood essence and added it to refine. Soon, it was refined into a golden powder that emitted a rich fragrance. As the fragrance spread out, Big Radish's eyes lit up. What is this? Dragon beard powder. The medicinal properties of the dragon beard grass have been strengthened by 100 times. In addition to the blood essence of other demonic beasts, I'm afraid the dragon beard fish can't wait any longer. Ling Xiao smiled and directly scattered half of the dragon beard powder into the lake. Gulp. Soon, the originally clear lake started to have faint ripples. The waves shook, and mysterious auras approached rapidly, emitting a dazzling golden light. It was as though the entire lake was dyed golden. The dragon beard fish are here. Big Radish's eyes lit up and said hurriedly. In the lake, inch-long dragon-whiskered fish swarmed over. The dragon-whiskered fish were golden in color and had very long whiskers. Golden light filled the air around them as if lightning was rising and interweaving with each other, turning the lake into a sea of lightning. Hurry up and catch them. There are so many dragon beard fish. We're rich. Big Radish was almost drooling as it hurriedly urged. Don't worry, the big guys are coming soon. Ling Xiao said with a smile. There were already more than 100 dragon beard fish gathered. Among them, there were some that were 2 inches long and 3 inches long. There was even a dragon beard fish that was almost a foot long. It looked like the king of the fish. It swam around, intertwining with beautiful lightning. The dragon beard fish was an ancient dragon species. It could only grow an inch every 1,000 years. A dragon beard fish that was a foot long meant that it had grown for at least 10,000 years. Ling Xiao could feel that the dragon beard fish that was a foot long was even stronger than a demon emperor's aura. Rumble. Lightning intertwined and golden light lingered. The strange phenomenon above the lake was shocking. It was as though a treasure was born and there was a mysterious fragrance lingering around it. When Ling Xiao saw that the dragon beard powder was swallowed up quickly, he immediately scattered the other half of the dragon beard powder in. Boom! Chapter 607. It's here. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw an enormous dragon-whiskered fish that was 3 m long. Its entire body was coiled with golden lightning, and its might was monstrous. A 3 m long dragon-whiskered fish, this was a dragon-whiskered fish king that had lived for 100,000 years. Instantly, the Big Radish's eyes widened. The dragon-whiskered fish king swallowed all of the dragon-whiskered powder, and then it wanted to dive into the lake. Where do you think you're going? The net in Ling Xiao's hand flashed, and it instantly enveloped the enormous dragon-whiskered fish king. Rumble. The dragon-whiskered fish king seemed to have sensed danger, and it spat out a golden bolt of lightning that instantly blasted onto the net. The net shone resplendently, and countless runes exploded. It was actually unable to endure the dragon-whiskered fish king's attack, and it exploded with a bang. As expected of the dragon-whiskered fish king. A bright light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Even a peerless Dao artifact couldn't withstand a single attack from the dragon-whiskered fish king. It was indeed monstrously ferocious. He seemed to have expected this, and he leaped up like a bolt of lightning and smashed out with his fist. Roar! Powerful dragon pressure suffused the air, and Ling Xiao's body of the heavenly dragon erupted. The dragon-whiskered fish king seemed to have been frightened, and it turned around with the intention of charging into the lake. But Ling Xiao was even faster. His fist smashed onto the dragon-whiskered fish king's belly, and golden lightning erupted and blasted it into the sky. Ling Xiao knew that if the dragon-whiskered fish king was in the water, its might would increase explosively by 10 times, and he would probably be utterly unable to capture it. So, he absolutely couldn't allow it to enter the lake. Dragon-whiskered fish. How can there be such a huge dragon-whiskered fish? A pleasantly surprised voice sounded out, and a young man and woman with powerful auras flew over from the distant sky. Their eyes were filled with excitement. The man was extraordinarily handsome, and the woman was pretty. Both of them wore green robes, and their faces were filled with pride. Both of their cultivations had attained the 3rd level of the monarch realm. Big brother, with this dragon-whiskered fish, our bloodline might be able to make another breakthrough. We must obtain it. I'll kill this person, and you go catch the dragon-whiskered fish. The green-robed woman's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as she spoke coldly. Good. Such a huge dragon-whisker fish king is definitely a supreme treasure. The green-robed man also said excitedly. Whoosh! A light flashed in the hands of the green-robed woman, and an ancient bow appeared. She knocked the bow and shot an arrow at Ling Xiao. Instantly, a green arrow pierced through the void and shot towards Ling Xiao's heart. You are courting death. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He also noticed the young couple, but he didn't expect them to target the dragon-whiskered fish king as soon as they appeared. They even wanted to attack him. That green arrow was extremely fast, containing a trace of power that could pierce through everything, causing Ling Xiao to feel a strong sense of threat. Wang! Ling Xiao instantly performed the great teleportation technique, leaving an afterimage on the spot. His real body instantly appeared beside the dragon-whiskered fish king. With a punch, his terrifying physical strength completely exploded. Rumble! This punch landed heavily on the dragon-whiskered fish king's head. The dragon-whiskered fish king's head was dizzy. The fish scales on its body exploded, and pale golden blood flowed out. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ling Xiao directly kept the dragon-whisker fish king into the celestial stone, allowing it to do whatever it wanted. Hand over the dragon-whisker fish. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of the green-robed man and woman, and they berated at the same time. They were extremely shocked in their hearts as well. The ancient bow was the ultimate treasure of their clan. Even though it was heavily damaged, a single arrow could cause the heavens and the earth to dim down, and it could even kill a 9th-level monarch realm expert with a single arrow. They hadn't expected that Ling Xiao would actually be able to dodge that arrow and subdue the dragon-whiskered fish king in an instant. Ling Xiao didn't even look at them. Taking advantage of the fact that the dragon-whisker powder in the lake hadn't completely dispersed, he waved his sleeve and caught over 100 dragon-whisker fish and the big radish in the lake, putting them all into the divine stone. You're courting death. The green-robed woman's gaze turned cold. She hadn't expected that Ling Xiao would actually dare to disregard them like this. She instantly withdrew a green arrow from her back. It was made from a strange green gold, and it emanated a faint golden radiance. The arrow was knocked on the bowstring, and it instantly caused a storm to rage. A strand of terrifying killing intent locked onto Ling Xiao, and a green arrow that was far more terrifying than before shot over. Bang! The heavens and the earth shook violently while space trembled. It seemed like space was about to explode at this moment, and then a strand of exalted divine might shot towards Ling Xiao. A supreme venerable weapon? Ling Xiao was shocked. The ancient bow in the green-robed woman's hand was actually a supreme venerable weapon. No wonder he felt so threatened. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. He hadn't expected the green-robed man and woman to be so ruthless. For the dragon-whiskered fish, they had launched 2 sneak attacks without mercy. Whoosh! Ling Xiao didn't dodge at all. His palm was enveloped in golden light, and he actually grabbed the green arrow. Boom! Golden and green lights exploded, and an unparalleled sharpness shot out in all directions. Traces of blood actually appeared on Ling Xiao's palm. The green arrow was too powerful. If it wasn't for Ling Xiao's powerful physical body, even a 9th-level ruler's arm would probably explode if he took the arrow head-on. Die! Ling Xiao's unparalleled physical strength burst out as he coldly spat out a word. The green arrow in his hand was actually thrown back by him. Whoosh! The green light blazed, and killing intent filled the air. The green-robed woman's expression changed drastically. She hadn't expected someone to be able to receive her sword barehanded and even throw the arrow back. Bang! The ancient bow in her hand emitted a mysterious light. It was like a green cloud was spreading out, and it instantly shot down the green arrow. However, at this moment, an arm seemed to have reached out from the void and instantly grabbed her throat. Moreover, a cold voice was heard by her ear. How do you want to die? Ling Xiao stood in front of the green-robed woman with an extremely cold expression. Who are you? How can you be so strong? The green-robed woman's expression changed drastically. She felt like she was about to suffocate, and her eyes were filled with extreme fear. Let go of my sister, or I'll tear you into pieces. The green-robed man shouted fiercely, but he couldn't hide the fear in his eyes. They originally wanted to get rid of Ling Xiao and snatch the dragon-whiskered fish king. However, they hadn't expected Ling Xiao to be so terrifying. He was only a 9th-level noble, but once he burst out, he was like a god-fiend. Not only did he block the Qingyun Bao, but he also grabbed the green-robed woman in an instant. Tear you into pieces. I'm afraid you don't understand the situation you're in. Ling Xiao sneered. Immediately, divine power burst out from his palm and instantly crushed the green-robed woman's neck. Chapter 608. Bastard, how dare you! The green-robed man's face changed and his eyes were filled with fear. He had not expected Ling Xiao to kill the green-robed woman. Trash from the Filian clan, how dare you plot against me? You can go to hell now. A blazing sword radiance flew out from Ling Xiao's palm and cut off the green-robed man's head. A green primordial spirit tried to escape, but it was instantly devoured by the sky-devouring golden lotus. Ling Xiao recognized that the two men were from the Filian clan. The Filian was an ancient divine beast, and they had the blood of the Filian in their bodies, although it was very thin. What Ling Xiao knew was that the Filian clan had already submitted to the Sky Demon Palace and became their henchmen. Since they wanted to kill him, Ling Xiao was not going to be polite to them. He did not even bother to interrogate them. The green cloud bow. Is it the treasure of the Filian clan? Although it's a supreme weapon, it's a pity that it's damaged. Ling Xiao looked at the green cloud bow in his hand and his eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The green cloud bow was a very famous supreme weapon. The body of the bow was made of extraterrestrial divine iron and was fused with void crystal, deep-sea mysterious ice, Tianyi holy water and many other top treasures. It was a pity that the bowstring was broken in the catastrophe 10,000 years ago. The bowstring on the green cloud bow was made from the tendons of a half-step demon venerable flood dragon of the Filian clan. Therefore, the power of the bow was greatly reduced. If it was a complete green cloud bow, Ling Xiao would not be able to dodge an arrow. My cheap cousin seems to have come to the holy ground. The dragon clan has no lack of dragon tendons. If the green cloud bow is used with the real dragon tendons as the bowstring, it will definitely be able to restore its full power. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he started to plot against Long Zhantian. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao had many treasures on him, such as the sky-devouring sword, the steel of sun and moon, the soul-morning nail, the soul-destroying needle, the divine stone, and the 12th grade blood lotus. These treasures were either heavily damaged, secret treasures, or they could not be taken out easily. Although the sky-devouring sword was Ling Xiao's personal sword, it had been severely damaged in his previous life. Now, it was being nurtured. Although the material was extremely sturdy, it did not have the divine aura of a supreme being. It could only be considered a semi-finished supreme weapon. The heavenly steel of sun and moon was easy to use. However, it was also a secret treasure and not a cardinal treasure. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had a faint feeling that the heavenly steel of sun and moon was a keepsake that contained a great secret. As for the soul-morning needles and soul-destroying needles, they were a set of supreme artifacts. Ling Xiao only had a part of them, so they were not complete supreme artifacts. The 12th grade blood lotus was a complete supreme artifact, but Ling Xiao did not dare to take it out easily. Otherwise, when the 3 great wisdom kings came, Ling Xiao might not even be able to escape. The heavenly divine stone was only an auxiliary divine artifact. It did not have any offensive capabilities. Speaking of which, if he could find a suitable bowstring for the green cloud bow, it would be a complete supreme weapon in his hands. In any case, the Philian clan had declined, and Ling Xiao and the Sky Demon Palace were destined to be enemies. Using this clear sky bow, Ling Xiao did not feel any burden at all. Big Radish, you bastard! Ling Xiao kept the clear sky bow, but when he saw the scene in the heavenly divine stone, his face turned green instantly. Inside the heavenly divine stone, Ling Xiao caught a dragon whisker fish king. There were hundreds of dragon whisker fish, and more than 20 of them were eaten by the big radish secretly. Furthermore, Ling Xiao discovered that this fellow actually had designs on the dragon whisker fish king. It was just that it could not do anything about the golden lightning all over the dragon whisker fish king's body. A quasi-divine medicine actually secretly ate fish? Ling Xiao grabbed the big radish and looked at it fiercely. You're just a medicine. Why did you secretly eat the dragon whisker fish? The big radish said with an innocent face, didn't you say that you would help me evolve into a divine medicine? To evolve into a divine medicine, I must devour the essence of all living things and gather the essence of heaven and earth. Could it be that these mere dozens of dragon whisker fish are more precious than me? Then when can you evolve into a divine medicine? Ling Xiao said with a black face. The divinity essence of these dragon whisker fish is insufficient. Big fellow, catch 8 or 10 of them for me. Perhaps it will be enough. The big radish pointed at the dragon whisker fish king and said indifferently. 8 or 10. You really dare to dream. Ling Xiao had an urge to kill the big radish, but he suppressed it in the end. Master, let's go to the Demon Saint Cliff. There are many precious divine medicines there. There are even quasi-divine medicines. It's best to catch all of them. The big radish laughed dryly as if it knew that it had caused trouble and changed the topic. Demon Saint Cliff? That seems to be the herb garden of the holy ground. There are countless precious spirit medicines there. However, there are many restrictions and every step is dangerous. You didn't escape from there, did you? Ling Xiao looked at the big radish in surprise and asked. I was chased out by those fellows. If I didn't leave, I'm afraid I would have been killed by them. Fortunately, I ran fast. Master, let's go back and take revenge. The big radish said with a grunt. Chased out? Why were you chased out? Ling Xiao asked. The big radish said indifferently, actually, it's just a small matter. The reason why there are so many spirit medicines on the Demon Saint Cliff is because of the heavenly god spring. I was just careless and snatched an entire year's worth of heavenly god spring from them. Snatched an entire year's worth of heavenly god spring? No wonder they wanted to fight you to the death. Ling Xiao was speechless. The heavenly god spring nurtured the essence of the origin and was the foundation for the growth of those spirit medicines. It was because of the heavenly god spring that the Demon Saint Cliff could gather the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and nurture so many spirit medicines. However, the Demon Saint Cliff had a walking master like the big radish who had snatched the heavenly god spring from the other spirit medicines. No wonder they wanted to chase it away. They probably even had the intention to kill it. However, the Demon Saint Cliff was indeed a treasure trove. Ling Xiao thought for a moment, then left the lake with the big radish and flew towards the Demon Saint Cliff. Not long after Ling Xiao left, a young man in green armor with a sinister face and a few black-robed old men with powerful auras arrived at the lake. How dare you snatch my heaven's net and kill the people of my 9 infants clan? You must have a death wish. The sinister-looking young man was the young clan leader of the Nine Infants clan. A cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. To be able to erase young master's primordial spirit imprint so easily, I'm afraid he's at least a half-step supreme. However, that person has already left. Let's hurry to the Demon St. Cliff and rendezvous with the Sky Demon Palace. A black-robed old man carefully sensed the aura left on the lake and said slowly. Let's go. Let's see who has the dragon whisker fish and who has snatched my heaven's net. Let's go to the Demon St. Cliff first. Chapter 609. The holy ground was vast and boundless. Numerous towering ancient trees towered into the clouds, covering the sky and covering the sun. Numerous mountains rose from the ground, majestic and grand. Clouds swirled and the essence of heaven and earth gathered. Countless powerful beasts roared in the mountains, whistling through the sky and emitting a majestic demonic aura and evil aura. This was like an ancient wild world that had been sealed. Everywhere was filled with a natural aura. Moreover, Ling Xiao could faintly feel that there was a fluctuation of the world's origin in the holy ground. That's the Demon St. Cliff. Big Radish sat on Ling Xiao's shoulder. They passed through endless mountains and vast lands and finally arrived in front of a mountain shrouded in clouds. This mountain looked extremely steep and the walls were extremely smooth, as if they had been cut by a sword. There was an ancient and majestic aura around it. Auspicious air rose from the mountain and rays of light filled the air. There was a medicinal fragrance in the air. Figures flashed and it was obvious that someone had already arrived at the Demon St. Cliff. Legend has it that the Demon St. Cliff is the place where the Demon Saint passed away. It is filled with a sacred aura and is nourished by the heavenly god Spring. That's why such a large herb garden was formed. Ling Xiao recalled the legend of the Demon St. Cliff. The smooth walls in front of him faintly flowed with a mysterious aura. Are there any real divine herbs in the Demon St. Cliff? Ling Xiao asked. Maybe, but I haven't seen any. My old brothers are only quasi-divine herbs. However, there are many sacred herbs. There are at least a few hundred of them. Big Radish shook his head and said. A few hundred sacred herbs. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. In the God of War continent, sacred herbs were the best spiritual herbs. The martial sacred grounds probably only had a few or a dozen of them. Sacred herbs were the main ingredient in refining the supreme elixir. It was no wonder that so many people came to the Demon St. Cliff. Not to mention the quasi-divine herbs. Even for martial saints, they had the miraculous effect of prolonging their lifespan. Naturally, they would not let go of them. Maybe the sacred herbs I'm looking for are in the Demon St. Cliff. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with anticipation. He had already obtained the complete space crystal from the Tomb King city. If he could find those ancient sacred herbs and refine them into world pills, he would be able to make a breakthrough in his heaven-devouring secret technique. The current sky-devouring golden lotus had already reached the consummate realm after devouring countless spiritual qi of heaven and earth, pure yang qi, and the primordial spirits of martial artists. With the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, Ling Xiao's battle prowess would rise to a higher level, and he would be confident that he could defeat the likes of the Heaven-Scorching Demon Emperor and the others with paragon items. The King Heaven Devourer Cauldron wasn't a paragon item, but it definitely surpassed it. Figures flashed on the Demon St. Cliff, but Ling Xiao felt a faint sense of danger. Master, there are cracks in the void above the Demon St. Cliff, ancient killing formations, and tainted divine blood. It's extremely dangerous. But if you follow my route, you'll be absolutely safe. Big Radish smiled at Ling Xiao as if it was presenting a treasure. Very good. Tell me if you have the Chaos Origin Single Breath Grass, the Yin Yang Profound Spirit Wood, and the 5 Elemental Grand Tao Lotus. If you do, then bring me to these 3 saint herbs. Ling Xiao said slowly. In his previous life, when he entered the Holy Ground trials and obtained the sky-devouring secret skill, his cultivation was still too low. Later on, he broke through and finally learned that he needed these 3 saint herbs. Later on, he finally found these 3 saint herbs in the outside world, and they were all found in dangerous and forbidden places. Ling Xiao guessed that the demon Saint Cliff might have these 3 saint herbs. The yin-yang profound spirit wood and the 5 elemental grand Tao lotus have more than one. However, I don't have the chaos origin single breath grass. Big Radish was very familiar with the various spiritual herbs in the demon Saint Cliff. You don't have the chaos origin single breath grass. Then let's go find the yin-yang profound spirit wood and the 5 elemental grand Tao lotus. Ling Xiao was slightly disappointed, but he still said slowly. Under Big Radish's guidance, Ling Xiao went up the demon Saint Cliff from the back of the mountain, passed through several ancient killing formations and cracks in the void, and finally arrived at a bamboo forest. Those ancient killing formations were so terrifying that even Ling Xiao felt fatal danger. If an ordinary person were to barge in carelessly, they would be dead without a doubt. It really is the yin-yang profound spirit wood. The bamboo forest was filled with mist and mountain rocks. Under Big Radish's guidance, Ling Xiao found the yin-yang profound spirit wood, and his eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The bamboo forest was located halfway up the demon Saint Cliff, and it was a place where yin-yang baleful qi gathered. Moreover, there was a powerful killing formation outside, and ordinary people would not be able to find this place. The yin-yang profound spirit wood was a small tree that was 3 feet tall, and it looked very strange. It was half black and half white, and it was crystal clear, as if it was carved out of jade. However, there was a powerful seal on the outside. This seal was formed naturally, and the yin-yang baleful qi is extremely powerful. You just have to break the seal. Big Radish reminded. Yin-yang baleful qi seal. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He took out the sky-devouring sword and injected it with sky-devouring true qi. A powerful radiance spread out and slashed at the seal. Bang! The sky-devouring sword seemed to have slashed at the air. Yin-yang qi rose from the yin-yang profound spirit wood, and it looked very mysterious. It formed a perfect cycle and blocked the sky-devouring sword's attack. What a mysterious seal! Ling Xiao's heart jumped. If he wanted to break the yin-yang baleful qi seal with brute force, he was afraid that the yin-yang profound spirit would be damaged when the yin-yang qi exploded. If he wanted to break the seal, he had to think of another way. However, this was not a problem for Ling Xiao. He let out a faint smile, and the Breaking World Shuttle appeared in his palm with a flash of light. The Breaking World Shuttle could travel through the void and break through anything. Not to mention the yin-yang baleful qi seal, even a powerful ancient killing formation could not stop the Breaking World Shuttle. Part of the reason why Ling Xiao wanted the Breaking World Shuttle from the Tomb King City was because of the holy ground. Crack! The Breaking World Shuttle flashed with a black light and landed on the yin-yang baleful qi seal. Like a needle piercing a bubble, the originally perfectly balanced seal was broken just like that. What treasure is this? Master, with this treasure, the sage medicine at the Demon Saint Cliff will be as easy as walking on flat ground for you. Big Radish said in surprise. The fact that the world-breaking shuttle was able to break through the seal so easily and without making any sound at all shocked the Big Radish. Ling Xiao was about to say something when he suddenly heard footsteps from afar. He quickly kept the yin-yang profound spirit wood. How dare you? Hand over the yin-yang profound spirit wood. A cold voice rang out. In the distance, a dozen demon clan cultivators in black armor walked over. Their eyes were filled with indifference. Sky Demon Palace. Chapter 610. You are Ling Xiao. The leader of the demon clan wanted to reprimand Ling Xiao, but when he saw Ling Xiao's face, he turned pale with fright. He had seen Ling Xiao fight in Two World City with his own eyes. The sixth saint had lost to Ling Xiao even with a supreme weapon. They were only in the noble realm, and Ling Xiao could probably kill them all. You want me to hand over the yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood? Ling Xiao said flatly. No, no. Sir Ling Xiao, I just want to ask if you can sell us the yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood? As long as you are willing, the price is negotiable. The demon clan youth shook his head and asked carefully. What do you want the yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood for? Ling Xiao stood up and asked flatly. An invisible aura spread. The leader of the demon clan youth was pale and cold sweat was about to break out. He did not dare to hide anything and told Ling Xiao everything. His Highness asked us to collect various sacred herbs. The yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood is one of them. I don't know what His Highness wants it for. The sky-scorching demon king. Ling Xiao said flatly. Tell the sky-scorching demon king that the yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood is here. If he wants it, he can come to me. With that, Ling Xiao turned and left without even looking at them. They were just a bunch of small fries. They were not worth his time. The leader of the demon clan youth wiped the sweat off his forehead and heaved a sigh of relief when he could no longer see Ling Xiao. Sir, the yin-yang mysterious spiritual wood has been taken by Ling Xiao. What should we do? A heavenly demon guardian said unwillingly. What should we do? If you can, go and take it back from Ling Xiao. The demon clan youth rolled his eyes and said unhappily. Go and report to His Highness Han Feng. This is not something we can handle. The group turned and left to report to Han Feng. The sky-scorching demon king is plundering the sacred herbs of the demon Saint Cliff. What is he trying to do? Ling Xiao was puzzled and felt that something was wrong. He urged the big radish to hurry in the direction of the Five Elements Lotus. The Five Elements Lotus was located in a hot spring in a valley, but when Ling Xiao arrived, the Five Elements Lotus was already gone. The Sky Demon Palace must have gotten there first. Let's go. I want to see what the Sky Demon Palace wants to do. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he headed towards the peak of the Demon Saint Cliff. The higher up the demonic Saint Cliff, the more ancient killing formations there were. There were all kinds of spatial cracks and terrifying lightning everywhere. It was also the place where the quasi-divine medicines grew. Suddenly, Ling Xiao sensed the aura of the experts from the Sky Demon Palace. He flew into the divine stone and drove it towards the top of the Demon Saint Cliff. Above the Demon Saint Cliff, there were clouds and mist all around. The essence chi of heaven and earth poured down like a waterfall, dazzling everyone's eyes. Han Feng sat cross-legged amidst the boundless worldly essence. As he breathed, the boundless worldly essence fused into his body. Surprisingly, his cultivation was at the third level of the monarch realm. There were two quasi-exalt realm elders of the demon race standing guard around him, and they emanated powerful vital energy that was peerlessly powerful. As for the sky demon guards that Ling Xiao saw earlier, they were kneeling before Han Feng. What? Ling Xiao took the yin-yang profound spirit wood? Han Feng opened his eyes, and it seemed like flames were rising around him. His gaze was sharp, and it was like a nine-headed lion covered in flames had soared into the sky. Han Feng's true form is actually an ancient variant beast, the nine-headed flaming lion? Ling Xiao's gaze flashed as he thought to himself. The nine-headed flaming lion was one of the formidable divine beasts of the ancient times. According to legend, it was an existence that could fight a true dragon. No wonder Han Feng's status in the Sky Demon Palace was so high. That's right. Second Highness, Ling Xiao said arrogantly before he left that the yin-yang profound spirit wood is in his possession, and the First Highness has to go look for him personally if you want to take it. The young man who led the group spoke respectfully. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed across Han Feng's eyes. He was already unhappy with Ling Xiao, and he did not expect Ling Xiao to be at the Demon Saint Cliff and snatch his sacred herbs. Han Feng, although Ling Xiao is arrogant, the First Highness will take care of him when the time comes. The most important thing for us now is to give these sacred herbs to the First Highness. With these sacred herbs, the First Highness will have a much higher chance of success. A quasi-exalt realm elder of the Sky Demon Palace said slowly. Elder is right. However, we have so many people searching, and even used several powerful secret treasures, but we only managed to gather about 20 sacred herbs. The efficiency is too slow. The demon Saint Cliff is fraught with danger, and the restrictions are too strong. In particular, those quasi-divine herbs are very slippery, and they can escape into those killing arrays. We can't do anything about it. Han Feng thought about it and said helplessly. Now, let's give these 20 sacred herbs to the First Highness. As for those quasi-divine herbs, once the First Highness succeeds, he can naturally take them back one by one. The Elder of the Sky Demon Palace said slowly. Alright, I will personally deliver them. You guys stay and continue to search for sacred herbs. Try your best to capture those quasi-divine herbs as well. Han Feng sighed and stood up from the Demon Saint Cliff. Rumble. At this moment, the Demon Saint Cliff suddenly trembled violently, and a powerful and terrifying aura spread out. Black light rose and lightning surged, and the Demon Saint Cliff looked as though it was about to crack open. The mountain peak in the distance cracked open, and an ancient tree surrounded by black lightning slowly appeared, emitting a monstrous demonic aura. Oh no, why did that guy suddenly wake up? Big Radish trembled, and a look of fear appeared in his eyes. This ancient tree, could it be the legendary heavenly demon divine tree? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. The heavenly demon divine tree was said to be a supreme divine herb, and it was born with spiritual roots. It contained the origin energy of the demon clan, and it belonged to the strongest demon saint of the ancient times. The heavenly demon divine fruit on the heavenly demon divine tree could allow the bloodline of the demon clan experts to evolve, raise their cultivation, and even comprehend powerful demon clan superpowers. That's right. It's the heavenly demon divine tree, but it should be called the heavenly demon divine tree now. This guy has been tainted by the demonic aura of the extraterrestrial demons and has turned into a half-demon existence. It's extremely powerful. Let's go quickly, or we're doomed. Big Radish trembled in fear and hurriedly urged Ling Xiao to escape. What's there to be afraid of? Don't worry. The heavenly demon divine tree won't be able to find us in this treasure of mine. Ling Xiao glared at it and then carefully observed the heavenly demon divine tree. Chapter 611. The heavenly demon divine tree was 100 feet tall and its bark was like a dragon's. It was covered in shiny black scales and its leaves were as black as ink. There were some black fruits on it that emitted a strange fluctuation that made one's scalp tingle. The heavenly demon divine tree's aura was monstrous as a black demonic light rose. It was extremely terrifying as it instantly locked onto Han Feng and the others and ran towards them. Bang! 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 The ground shook as the heavenly demon divine tree shot out rays of black divine light that covered the sky. It contained an extremely terrifying power as if it was going to drown the demon Saint Cliff in an instant. Poof! The dozen heavenly demon guardians did not have any room to resist as they were instantly pierced by the black demonic light. Then, they were pulled back by the heavenly demon divine tree and swallowed. Oh no! Han Feng, hurry up and leave. We'll stop this demonic tree. The two elders of the heavenly demon palace were shocked. They immediately unleashed an extremely powerful aura as they charged towards the heavenly demon divine tree in an attempt to stop its attack. Han Feng gritted his teeth as a red jade talisman appeared in his hand. It emitted a mysterious spatial fluctuation. It's useless. These two old men are just sending themselves to their deaths. The heavenly demon divine tree is something that only honorables can fight against. Now that this guy has awakened, I'm afraid those guys in the holy ground are in trouble. Big Radish gloated. Cut the crap. Let's go. Ling Xiao gave him a slap. Seeing that Han Feng was about to escape, he immediately controlled the heavenly stone and turned it into a cloud of dust that landed on Han Feng's clothes. Boom! Although the two elders of the heavenly demon palace blocked the attack of the black divine light, they spat out a mouthful of blood as if they were struck by lightning. Their faces turned extremely pale. Crack! The heavenly demon divine tree was getting closer and closer. A black branch shot out like lightning and instantly pierced through the chests of the two elders of the heavenly demon palace. It began to devour their essence, blood and primordial spirits. Han Feng was scared out of his wits as he quickly crushed the jade talisman in his hand. Immediately, a light door appeared in front of him and he entered it immediately. Boom! The heavenly demon divine tree extended another black branch, and with a loud rumble, the beam of light exploded. However, Han Feng had also completely disappeared into the void. Void Supreme Talisman. This guy has quite a lot of good stuff on him. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. In the next moment, the light in the void flickered and Han Feng appeared 10,000 miles away from the Demon Saint Cliff, arriving in an unfamiliar mountain range. Damn it! Han Feng's face as he knew the heavenly demon divine tree The heavenly demon divine tree was way too horrifying. Two half-step supremes were as weak as paper. The awakening of such a horrifying existence was a disaster for the powerhouses in the holy ground. He had to inform Demon King as soon as possible. At the thought of it, Han divine divine tree. Boom! Just then, a light flashed in the void and Ling Zhao flew out from the heavenly stone. His body emitted a monstrous power of blood and qi as he punched the back of Han Feng's head. Han Feng did not expect to enter the wolf's den after escaping from the tiger's mouth. He did not even see who had ambushed him. Instantly, his vision turned black and he fainted. Ling Zhao's punch had been accumulating power for a long time, but he had used it skillfully and only knocked Han Feng out. Otherwise, with Ling Zhao's terrifying physical body, he would have smashed Han Feng's head into mush with that punch. Hee, master, you're getting more and more sinister. I like it. Big Radish said with a sinister smile. Ling Zhao ignored him and searched Han Feng's body. Han Feng's storage ring, green armor, and even the powerful treasures in his primordial spirit were all taken by Ling Zhao. In the end, Han Feng laid naked on the ground with a look of disbelief on his face. Ling Zhao checked Han Feng's storage ring and realized that there were more than 20 supreme divine herbs, including the 5 elements lotus that he needed. Moreover, there was a void supreme talisman, which was a great treasure for escaping. Apart from that, there was also a crimson saber with a brilliant glow. It was a quasi-supreme weapon like the green armor on Han Feng's body. 9 Sun Sky Opening Saber. Qinggang Armor. Apart from that, there were many pure yang pills and elixirs that could increase one's cultivation, as well as some miscellaneous items. However, none of them caught Ling Zhao's attention. Master, why didn't you kill him? Why did you put in so much effort to knock him out? Big Radish asked in confusion. You don't understand. Ling Zhao said with a faint smile. Since Han Feng was the second prince of the Sky Demon Palace, there must be something in his primordial spirit left behind by a supreme being expert. It would be fine if his life was not threatened. However, once Han Feng's life was threatened, the powerful killing move left behind by a supreme being would be triggered. Ling Zhao did not want to attract the attention of a supreme being expert. Let's go. Next time I see this kid, I'll beat him up. This guy is also a child of wealth. He and Zhao Ritian are brothers in the same boat. Ling Zhao smiled and could not help but think of Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian was extremely talented and had the holy body of the sun. It was not weaker than the darkness bloodline and the 9 nether bloodline, which were the top bloodlines in the world. However, this kid was extremely lucky. Every time Ling Zhao saw him, he would have a great encounter. Ling Zhao did not know where Zhao Ritian was now. He missed Zhao Ritian a little. No, he missed the treasures on Zhao Ritian. Ling Zhao stripped Han Feng naked and left him where he was. Then, he swaggered away. Before he had gone far, Ling Zhao heard an angry roar that shook the forest. It was filled with resentment and anger. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a smile as he quickly left the place. In a mysterious valley in the holy ground. The valley was shrouded in red clouds and flames were rising. There was not a single blade of grass growing in the surroundings. It was all bare rocks and the valley was filled with hot lava. Zhao Ritian sat cross-legged in the lava. There was a resplendent crystal floating in front of him. It was like a sun, gorgeous and scorching. It emitted streaks of crimson divine light that were slowly being absorbed and refined by him. The aura on his body was getting stronger and stronger. His blood flowed like a river, giving off a majestic and ancient aura. Zhao Ritian's cultivation had reached the pinnacle of level 9 noble realm. Behind him, a mysterious figure seemed to be appearing. The figure stepped on the sun, moon, and stars. Above his head was endless chaos. He was covered in inextinguishable flames, like an eternal flame god. Chapter 6:12. In an ancient palace. Chaotic chi lingered in the air as flames raged. The sky-scorching demon emperor sat in the middle, emitting a majestic aura. Behind him, there seemed to be a divine beast shrouded in flames, letting out an earth-shattering roar. The genuine chi in his body seemed to be burning as a violent gust of wind rose from the depths of his primordial spirit. Vaguely, there seemed to be 3 flowers above his head. 3 flowers at once prominence, tribulation of the 4 symbols. In the void in the west. An ancient parasol tree was dazzling as if it was full of suns. It was surrounded by a world of flames. Behind Lin Hui, a fire phoenix soared into the sky, devouring the spiritual chi of the heavens and earth and the endless power of flames. His appearance was getting more and more handsome. With flames on his body, his skin was crystal clear, emitting a faint aura of a supreme being. Under the ground in the east. In a vast underground cave, there was a golden bone dragon that was 10,000 feet long, emitting a majestic bloodline aura, mysterious and majestic. Long Zhantian was coiled in the void, surrounded by rays of golden light. With dragon roars, there seemed to be countless rays of golden blood rushing out from the bone dragon, merging into Long Zhantian's body. Long Zhantian was getting more and more majestic. There seemed to be a golden divine dragon in his eyes, surrounded by a mysterious aura. There seemed to be an ocean boiling in his body. Endless black waves swept across, causing the genuine chi in his body to melt rapidly, giving birth to a powerful dragon force. As the Supreme Being's aura spread, Long Zhantian became even more unfathomable. In various parts of the holy ground, there were many supreme opportunities that appeared, which were occupied by various peerless geniuses, causing their cultivation to improve by leaps and bounds. After Ling Xiao and Big Radish robbed Han Feng, they left in a swaggering manner. Ling Xiao's ears suddenly twitched as he heard the sound of a great battle ahead. Let's go and take a look. Ling Xiao instantly entered the divine stone and turned into a speck of dust, flying towards the mountain ahead. Ling Xiao was getting more and more used to using the divine stone. It could be said that it was a supreme weapon for murder, arson, robbery, and escape. If the divine stone turned into a speck of dust, it would remain a speck of dust. Even a supreme being expert would not be able to tell the difference. The sounds of battle came from a valley in front of them. When Ling Xiao rode the divine stone into the valley, he saw a group of elders in white robes. Each of them had a powerful aura. Under the leadership of a young man in white, they had surrounded a few people. Ling Xiao's gaze shifted. He realized that he knew all of the people who were trapped. The great elder of the precious treasure pavilion, Chen Tong, the saintess Su Mainyang, and 2 other half-step Supreme Being elders. However, the 2 half-step Supreme Being elders were already at the end of their rope. As soon as Ling Xiao arrived, the 2 half-step Supreme Being elders were killed by a blazing sword radiance. A supreme weapon. Ling Xiao's eyes trembled as he looked at the white-robed young man's hand. It was an ancient silver sword that emitted a bright light. It was as if there were endless starlight falling on the sword. It looked ancient and mysterious. Su Mainyang, stop struggling. In order to deal with you, I even brought the great demon subduing array. In addition to this dubhi ancient sword, even if you have the Jiu Shao Huan zither, how long can you last? The white-robed young man smiled faintly as if victory was already in his hands. He looked to be in his 20s. He was handsome and had a jade-like face. However, his lips were very thin, which made him look a little mean. He was already a half-step supreme being. The 8 white-robed elders who surrounded Su Mainyang and Qin Tong were also half-step supreme being elders. The 8 white-robed elders occupied 8 directions. Each of them had an ancient divine demon subduing talisman floating in front of them. The 8 divine talismans converged to form the great demon subduing array, which was constantly pressuring Su Mainyang. Clang! A strange sound of a zither rang out, causing faint ripples to appear in the void. An ancient zither was placed in front of Su Mainyang. It was emitting a bright red glow. Su Mainyang kept plucking the strings of the zither. The sound of the zither turned into a mysterious barrier that shrouded her and Qin Tong. However, Su Mainyang was not in a good state. Her face was pale and there were bloodstains at the corners of her mouth. The barrier formed by the Jiu Shao Huan zither was being compressed by the great demon subduing array and was getting smaller and smaller. Zhang Shuhao, you are really despicable. If you didn't launch a sneak attack with the Dubhe ancient sword, how could the great demon subduing array stop me? Su Mainyang said as she stared at the white-robed young man with cold eyes. Su Mainyang, I advise you not to waste your time. Why don't you just be the saintess of the treasure pavilion? As long as you are obedient, when I become the sect master, you will be the sect master's wife. Zhang Shuhao was not angry at all. Instead, he smiled faintly. The Zhang family is full of wild ambitions. The treasure pavilion was originally established by the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. The Zhang family is just the steward of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. In the end, you took advantage of the great calamity 10,000 years ago and killed almost all the powerhouses of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. All these years, you have been plotting to seize the treasure pavilion's property. You have been swallowing resources wantonly, cultivating loyal followers and eliminating dissidents. If it weren't for the fact that my old ancestor is still alive, I'm afraid you would have completely annihilated the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. Su Mainyang's eyes were cold and filled with monstrous anger. She originally wanted to take advantage of the opening of the Holy Ground this time to find the inheritance of the ancient Nine-Tailed Fox clan's powerhouse and prove her Dao as the supreme. She also wanted to find the treasure that could prolong the life of her old ancestor. However, she did not expect that the Zhang family would be aware of her intentions and send Zhang Shuhao to assassinate her. If it weren't for the 2 elders who had blocked the fatal blow for her, she would have been seriously injured if not killed by the Dubhe ancient sword. Zhang Shuhao smiled faintly and said, Su Mainyang, although the treasure pavilion was established by the Nine-Tailed Fox clan, if it weren't for my Zhang family's maintenance over the years, I'm afraid it would have long declined and then been divided by countless powerhouses. Speaking of which, you should thank my Zhang family. As long as you marry me, won't we be a family? Bah! Su Mainyang said coldly, it's intolerable for a slave to bully its master. How can you say that? Zhang Shuhao, even if I die today, I'll kill you. A trace of determination flashed in Su Mainyang's eyes. She was incomparably sad. She originally thought that she could change the fate of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan with her own strength. However, she did not expect that she would still fall in the end. Boom! An incomparably powerful aura erupted from Su Mainyang's body. It was as if a raging fire had risen around her. The Jiu Shao Huan zither shone brightly and the zither music shook the world. Waves of air swept across the sky and rushed toward the great demon subduing array and Zhang Shuhao. Burning your life essence? Crazy woman, you're really crazy. Chapter 613. Boom! The heavenly pivot ancient sword in Zhang Shuhao's hand shone brightly. It was as if there was a dazzling star in the 9 heavens, shining brightly with the heavenly pivot ancient sword. Zhang Shuhao swung his sword, shaking heaven and earth. It was as if the sky was about to explode. Around Su Mainyang, the boundary formed by the sound of the guqin shook violently. Countless runes exploded, and Su Meinyang's face instantly turned pale. However, her eyes were filled with determination. A cold murderous intent shot up into the sky. The 13 guqin strings were vibrated by her at the same time. It was as if they had turned into 13 huge waves that rushed toward Zhang Xuhao. I didn't expect Precious Treasure Pavilion to fall to such a state. Are they using their slaves to bully their masters? These people from the Zhang family really deserve to die. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply. He had long known that Precious Treasure Pavilion was founded by the Nine-Tailed Fox clan. However, he didn't expect Precious Treasure Pavilion to be divided into two factions and the Nine-Tailed Fox clan to fall to such a state. Ling Zhao originally didn't intend to meddle in other people's business. However, he had a good impression of Qin Tong. More importantly, the heavenly pivot ancient sword in Zhang Xuhao's hand. 10,000 years ago, Ling Zhao had 7 true disciples. He used countless treasures of heaven and earth and combined the power of the 7 supreme stars to forge 7 supreme divine swords. They were named after the 7 stars, Heavenly Pivot, Merak, Fekta, Migres, Alioth, Mizar, and Alcade. The owner of the Heavenly Pivot ancient sword was Ling Zhao's eldest disciple, Mu Linfeng. However, the Heavenly Book ancient sword had fallen into Zhang Xuhao's hands. Perhaps he could find Mu Linfeng's whereabouts through Zhang Xuhao. 8 Wilderness Demon Subduing Formation. If it were any other formation, it would be fine. However, since you've used the formation I created, you can only blame yourselves for being unlucky. A sharp glint appeared in Ling Zhao's eyes. The 8 Wilderness Demon Subduing Formation was created by Ling Zhao in his previous life. At its peak, the 8 Wilderness Demon Subduing Formation required the cooperation of the 8 Great Supremes. Even titled Supremes were no match for it. The 8 Wilderness Demon Subduing Formation laid by the 8 titled Supremes was said to be able to slay gods and demons. However, there were no deities for Ling Zhao to test in his previous life, so he didn't accomplish the feat of slaying deities. Boom! Ling Zhao instantly appeared from the divine stone. The devouring sky sword in his hand emitted a blazing divine light. Like a flying immortal, he flew across the sky, emitting a 5-colored divine light. He slashed towards a white-robed old man. In order to break the 8 Desolation Great Demon Subduing Formation, one would have to break through one of them. However, Zhou Tian, one of the 8 experts, was one. Attacking one of them was equivalent to attacking all 8 of them. However, Ling Zhao's 5 elements heaven sealing style isolated the 5 elements and formed a world of its own. It nurtured a shocking killing intent and instantly enveloped one of the white-robed elders. What? Zhang Xuhao's expression changed. He was fighting Su Meinyang with the Dubhe ancient sword in his hand. Just as he was about to suppress Su Meinyang, reinforcements suddenly appeared. A kid in the noble plane. You're courting death. Out of the corner of his eye, Zhang Xuhao noticed that the man was only of the 9th level of the noble realm. He sneered and his eyes were filled with disdain. A mere noble plane cultivator wanting to break through the great demon subduing matrix was simply a fool's dream. Ling Zhao. Su Meinyang and Qin Tong also saw Ling Zhao. Their bodies trembled, and their eyes revealed a trace of incomparable joy. However, they were also worried. The 8 Desolation Great Demon Subduing Formation was set up by 8 half-step supreme martial artists. Would Ling Zhao be able to turn the situation around? Boom! Just then, the 5 elements divine light exploded and formed a vast 5 elements enchantment that enveloped the white-robed elder. Pfft! With a flash of blood, Ling Zhao's sky-devouring sword pierced through the elder's chest. What? The half-step supreme martial artist elder was scared out of his wits. He could not imagine how a kid in the noble plane could break through the defense of the 8 Desolation Great Demon Subduing Formation and injure him severely. Go to hell. The white-robed elder's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. His terrifying cultivation erupted and he slammed his palm toward Ling Zhao's head. This palm contained the power of wind and thunder. It was as if it could crush a mountain. The horrifying palm print pressed down on Ling Xiao. Die! Ling Xiao said indifferently. The light of the sky-devouring sword changed again and the 6 paths of reincarnation erupted. Countless blazing sword radiance gushed out and formed the 6 paths of reincarnation wheel. It instantly shattered the palm print of the white-robed elder. Boom! The power of this sword was unparalleled. The white-robed elder's head was chopped off by Ling Xiao's sword. The sky-devouring golden lotus rolled up and devoured the elder's primordial spirit. What? The expressions of the other 7 white-robed old men and Zhang Xuhao changed greatly. From the moment Ling Xiao attacked to the moment he killed the white-robed old man, he had only used 2 slashes to kill a half-martial highness in an instant. This is a good chance. Su Meinyang's eyes flashed. The 8 Desolation Great Demon subduing formation had a flaw after the death of the white-robed elder. She suddenly spat a mouthful of blood essence on the Jiu Shao Huan zither. The sound of the zither was loud and dazzling. Rumble. Blazing lightning erupted from the Jiu Shao Huan zither and instantly turned into terrifying bolts of lightning that drowned the remaining 7 old men in white robes. The terrifying lightning swept across the void and filled the air with a powerful supreme martial artist's aura. Su Meinyang's blood essence had completely activated the power of the supreme weapon, the Jiu Shao Huan zither. Puff! 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 The 7 elders looked as if they had been struck by lightning. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and their faces turned pale. They were directly sent flying by the sea of lightning. Even though they were half-step supreme martial artists, they were like paper in front of a real supreme weapon. They couldn't withstand a single blow. What a pity, Su Meinyang's eyes revealed a trace of pity. However, she also knew that even if she had consumed her blood essence to activate the full power of the Jiu Shao Huan zither, it was already very difficult to achieve such a result. After all, she was not a real supreme martial artist. Little bastard, you deserve to die. Zhang Xuhao was also in a difficult situation. The Dubhe ancient sword in his hand shone brightly and broke the lightning in the sky. He stood together with the other 7 half-step supreme martial artists and stared at Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. He didn't expect a young man in the noble realm to have such terrifying combat strength. Saint, he is Ling Xiao, the one who killed South Celestial Venerable and the 3 stars of Star Palace in Heavenly God City. A white-robed elder whispered to Zhang Xuhao. Ling Xiao. Zhang Xuhao was shocked. However, he immediately sneered and said, so what if he is Ling Xiao? Does he think he can be arrogant just because he broke the 8 Desolation Great Demon subduing formation? Kill him. Zhang Xuhao's voice was filled with murderous intent. He pointed the Dubhe ancient sword at Ling Xiao and took the lead to attack Ling Xiao. Rumble. Chapter 614. At this moment, Su Meinyang and Qin Tong were both seriously injured, especially Su Meinyang. She had used her essence and blood to activate the Jiu Shao Huan zither several times and had reached her limit. She could no longer fight. Their faces were filled with worry. Although they knew that Ling Xiao was extremely talented and had unparalleled combat strength, Zhang Xuhao was no ordinary person. Together with the 7 white-robed elders, they were 8 half-step supreme masters. Not to mention that Zhang Xuhao had the Dubhe ancient sword. This sword was extremely powerful and contained a peerless killing intent. It could communicate with the power of the Dubhe star and was extremely terrifying. With such a lineup, even a supreme master who had survived the tribulation of 4 symbols might die without a burial place, let alone Ling Xiao, who was only in the noble realm. Slash! Following Zhang Xuhao's roar, starlight fell from the sky like shooting stars. They turned into the sharpest sword radiance and gathered around the Dubhe ancient sword before slashing down at Ling Xiao. Looking at the Dubhe ancient sword above his head, Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with nostalgia. The Dubhe ancient sword was the head of the 7 supreme swords of the Big Dipper. It was also the most powerful ancient sword. Its original owner should have been the eldest disciple, Mu Linfeng. Bastard, how dare you! A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. It was as if there was a thunderous roar in his voice, and a mysterious fluctuation spread out. The Dubhe ancient sword that was slashing down at him suddenly trembled and emitted a wave of both joy and fear. The sword radiance in the sky stopped in the void as if it did not dare to descend. What? Zhang Xuhao's expression changed and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The Dubhe ancient sword did not dare to descend after Ling Xiao's roar. Why was this guy so strange? Who was he? Su Mainyang's eyes were also filled with shock. She knew the origin of the Dubhe ancient sword very well. Moreover, it had been completely refined by the patriarch of the Zhang family. How could it stop because of Ling Xiao's roar? Buzz! The Dubhe ancient sword struggled violently. The sword shone brightly as if there was a mysterious figure with white hair and beard trying to suppress the Dubhe ancient sword. The Dubhe ancient sword was originally refined by Ling Xiao, and the sword's spirit within it was condensed from the star essence of the Dubhe star. It could be said that Ling Xiao was its parent. But now, the Tianshu ancient sword had been refined by the Zhang clan's patriarch. Therefore, under the confrontation between its parents and its master, the Tianshu ancient sword didn't seem to know whose command it should listen to. Come back. Zhang Xuhao was so frightened that his body trembled. He quickly recalled the Dubhe ancient sword and did not dare to take it out again. Ling Xiao was simply too strange. He actually almost made this peerless ancient sword betray him. However, without the Dubhe sword, Zhang Xuhao had lost his most powerful offensive weapon. How dare you steal my Dubhe ancient sword? No matter who you are, you're dead meat. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He could see a mysterious primordial spirit brand within the Dubhe ancient sword. That should be the Zhang family's supreme old ancestor. Ling Xiao was still unable to erase the sovereign's mark on the ancient Dubhe sword, but one day, he would snatch it back. Even without the Dubhe ancient sword, you will still die. Kill him. Zhang Xuhao's face was very ugly. A mere noble realm brat had caused him so much trouble. Not only did he kill a half-step supreme being, but he also almost made the Dubhe ancient sword betray him. Zhang Xuhao felt a sense of danger. He had to kill Ling Xiao, or there would be big trouble in the future. Boom! A light flashed in Zhang Xuhao's hand, and a red ancient sword appeared. It was only a quasi-supreme weapon, but its sharpness was unparalleled. Its aura was extremely shocking, and it slashed towards Ling Xiao across the sky. The other 7 white-robed elders also made their moves, bursting forth with their terrifying cultivation. The 8 half-step supreme beings attacked together. The power was almost enough to shatter the galaxy and return the world to chaos. Even Ling Xiao felt a strong sense of threat in his heart. 8 half-step supreme beings. Very well, I'll use you guys as my sword testing stones. Let's see where the limit of my combat strength is. Ling Xiao's expression was very calm. The battle intent in his eyes shot up to the sky. Golden light shone brightly around him, and a terrifying aura shot up to the sky. Boom! The sky-devouring sword seemed to have felt the battle intent from Ling Xiao, and it also trembled with joy, emitting a peerless sharpness. Ling Xiao soared into the sky, and his aura surged. He used the greater teleportation technique and appeared in front of Zhang Xuhao in an instant, slashing his sword towards Zhang Xuhao. Kill! Zhang Xuhao's eyes were blazing with killing intent. The red ancient sword in his hand shot out thousands of rays of light, and he met Ling Xiao's attack head-on. Clang! The blazing sword light swept across the sky, and the surrounding mountains rumbled. Pieces of mountain rocks were sent flying, and countless towering ancient trees were turned into dust. Ling Xiao and Zhang Xuhao were both sent flying back at the same time. What a pure sword intent! Ling Xiao's eyes moved. This Zhang Xuhao was actually a sword cultivator, and his strength was unparalleled. He was only a half-step supreme being, but he had already comprehended the art of man and sword as one. His spirit wandered the heavens, and his sword was unrepentant. A white-robed elder charged towards Ling Xiao from behind, holding a machete. His muscles were bulging, and he slashed down with extreme force. It was as if he wanted to split Ling Xiao in half. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. The sky-devouring sword slashed at the machete, and a storm of sword aura erupted. How sharp was the sky-devouring sword? Although the machete was a quasi-supreme being weapon, it was instantly damaged, which made the white-robed elder's heart ache. Kill! Ling Xiao held his sword, and his battle intent surged. He stabbed his sword towards the white-robed elder's forehead like a bolt of lightning, and its sharpness was unparalleled. The white-robed elder's expression changed, and he blocked with his machete. Only the sound of metal clashing could be heard, and sparks flew in all directions. An unparalleled divine force erupted. The white-robed elder was instantly sent flying as if he was struck by lightning. Rumble! The sky-devouring sword in Ling Xiao's hand fell from the sky, and the four elephants' sky-striking style exploded. The four elephants' divine light soared into the sky, and the surrounding heaven and earth seemed to revert to chaos and order. He wanted to completely kill the white-robed elder. Ling Xiao, don't be so arrogant. Behind Ling Xiao, the 6 white-robed old men moved together, forming an extremely mysterious battle formation. They attacked Ling Xiao from 6 directions: east, west, north, south, up, and down. This was the 6 directions heaven and earth formation, which gathered the strength of 6 half-step supreme beings. They wanted to completely kill Ling Xiao. Rumble! Chapter 6:15. Oh no, it's an afterimage. Zhang Xuhao's expression changed drastically. Just how fast was Ling Xiao? He was able to escape from the encirclement of 6 half-step supreme beings. At this moment, Ling Xiao wielded the sky-devouring sword and slashed down at another white-robed old man. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook violently as the blazing sword radiance swept across the land. A blazing sword radiance soared into the sky, traversing a distance of 30,000 miles and directly killing the white-robed old man. Blood splattered everywhere as countless divine lights exploded. Even the white-robed old man's primordial spirit was turned into ashes by the sword radiance. His soul was completely destroyed. The first one. Ling Xiao said indifferently as he raised his head to look at Zhang Xuhao. Ling Xiao, don't be so arrogant. Fight me if you have the ability. Zhang Xuhao was mad with hatred as his black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were filled with blazing killing intent as he charged towards Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao refused to fight him head-on. Instead, he pounced on the other 6 white-robed old men with the sky-devouring sword in his hand. Zhang Xuhao's battle prowess was extremely strong, far from what the 6 white-robed old men could compare to. Ling Xiao wanted to kill the 6 white-robed old men first, and then find Zhang Xuhao to fight. When the 6 of them are dead, it'll be your turn. Don't be anxious. Ling Xiao said indifferently as he slashed his sword across the sky. Blazing killing intent erupted from his body as a peerless sharpness filled the air. He's actually so strong. Su Mainyang and Qin Tong's eyes were filled with disbelief. The current Ling Xiao was much stronger than when he was in Heavenly God City. Even a half-step supreme being was like chopping vegetables in front of him. Although they had just become half-step supreme beings and had yet to pass the tribulation of 4 symbols, they were still half-step supreme beings. They were much stronger than ordinary sovereigns. However, they couldn't even withstand a single blow from Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, use my Jiu Shao Huan Zither. Su Mainyang shouted at Ling Xiao as she wanted to throw her Jiu Shao Huan Zither to him. The Jiu Shao Huan Zither was a supreme being weapon with unparalleled power. If Ling Xiao activated the power of the Jiu Shao Huan Zither, he would definitely be able to kill Zhang Xuhao and the others. At the same time, Su Mainyang also swallowed a healing elixir and hurriedly circulated her energy to heal her injuries. No need, you can keep it for yourself. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Su Mainyang had yet to recover from her serious injuries. With the Jiu Shao Huan Zither in her hands, Zhang Xuhao and the others would not dare to find trouble with her. Su Meinyang was extremely intelligent. Naturally, she understood Ling Zhao's intentions immediately. However, even though she knew that Ling Zhao had good intentions, she was still extremely displeased to be rejected so straightforwardly. Rumble. In the sky, the battle between Ling Zhao and Zhang Xuhao and the others was getting more and more intense. Heaven and earth shook, and the sun and moon lost their light. The huge mountains in the surroundings collapsed with a loud bang, and countless rocks flew everywhere, turning into dust. Huge gullies spread out on the ground. Those were the marks left by the peerless sword Qi. The 6 half-step supreme beings seemed to have learned their lesson. They no longer dared to attack Ling Zhao alone. Instead, they formed a battle formation and combined their strength to fight fiercely with Ling Zhao. On the other hand, Zhang Xuhao's sword intent condensed around his body. Every time he attacked, he would erupt with a peerless attack. The power of a sword cultivator completely erupted, causing a great threat to Ling Zhao. In this way, hundreds of moves had passed. The battle between Ling Zhao and the 7 people seemed to have reached a stalemate. Zhang Xuhao and the 6 white-robed old men became more and more shocked as the battle went on. A mere noble realm cultivator already had such terrifying combat strength. How terrifying would he be when he broke through to the monarch realm, or even half-step supreme being? Could it be that he was going to be like those peerless experts in the ancient times, who had the power to go against the flow and kill supreme beings before becoming a supreme being? Let's decide life and death with a single sword strike. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and he instantly soared into the sky. He already knew the limits of his combat strength, so there was no need to continue this battle. Boom! Ling Zhao's body shone brightly. Golden clouds filled the air, and a terrifying aura surged into the sky. Behind him, chaotic aura filled the air. A giant golden dragon and a 5-colored phoenix flew into the sky, presenting a mysterious vision of the dragon and phoenix. At this moment, Ling Zhao's physical strength had reached its peak. The surrounding void trembled as if the world was about to be shattered by Ling Zhao's aura. Ling Zhao slashed out with his sword. Heaven and earth shook as a 10,000-foot-long divine sword swept across the sky. The divine light of the 4 symbols rose, the power of the 5 elements filled the air, and the shadow of the 6 paths of reincarnation filled the air. Heaven and earth were born with a sword, and reincarnation was born with a sword. Ling Zhao's sword merged the first 3 moves of the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and earth. It swept across the sky towards Zhang Xuhao and the 6 white-robed old men. What? Zhang Xuhao and the 6 white-robed old men's expressions changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with horror. Under this sword, heaven and earth turned into chaos and the void shattered. They felt a fatal danger. Block it! Block it for me! The 6 white-robed old men roared in unison, and the blood in their bodies began to burn. The power of the 6 people seemed to fuse into one at this moment, transforming into a terrifying giant shield that met Ling Zhao's sword. Rumble! Sword Qi surged around Zhang Xuhao. The ancient crimson sword in his hand also turned into a 10,000-foot-long divine rainbow and merged with him. He and the sword became one and slashed at Ling Zhao fiercely. Rumble! Ling Zhao's eyes were cold. His black hair fluttered in the wind. His sword traveled 30,000 miles across the sky and directly slashed at the giant shield. Suddenly, heaven and earth rumbled, and large patches of the void shattered. The giant shield only managed to resist for a moment before it exploded. The vast sword light drowned the 6 white-robed old men. Instantly, blood splattered everywhere. It was extremely tragic. The 6 white-robed old men's bodies were directly blown into ashes. Clang! The terrifying sword light swept across the sky and collided with Zhang Xuhao's sword at the same time. Endless sword force exploded. Kacha! Zhang Xuhao's ancient crimson sword was instantly cut in half by Ling Zhao. Zhang Xuhao also abruptly spat out a mouthful of blood. The state of one with the sword was broken, and he also suffered a huge backlash. He was abruptly sent flying for several hundred feet, ruthlessly smashing into a distant mountain peak. The power of a single sword was so great. Ling Xiao stood in the air. His black hair fluttered in the wind. Dragons and phoenixes circled around him. His golden blood rushed into the sky like smoke signals. His eyes were brighter than the starry sky. He stood with the sword in his hand. His body was incomparably sharp, like a peerless sword god. No one dared to look at him directly. With a single slash, the bodies of the 6 half-step supreme beings were destroyed. Zhang Xuhao was also seriously injured. Even Su Mainyang and Qin Tong were stunned. They didn't even dare to think about such an outcome. So, this is Ling Xiao's real combat strength? Whoosh! The primordial spirits of the 6 half-step supreme beings rushed out instantly. Their eyes were filled with incomparable fear. However, when they looked at each other, they revealed a trace of determination. Chapter 6:16. Saint, run. We'll hold him back. Holy Sun, run away. The 6 half-step supreme being primordial spirits roared at the same time. Their bodies were instantly engulfed in blazing flames. They were like 6 blazing suns as they charged towards Ling Xiao. Oh no, they're going to self-destruct. Su Mainyang's expression changed drastically. She didn't expect the 6 of them to be so loyal to Zhang Xuhao. They were willing to risk their lives to create a chance for Zhang Xuhao to escape. How terrifying was the self-destruction of a half-step supreme being. Not to mention the self-destruction of 6 half-step supreme beings at the same time. That kind of power could probably turn this land into ruins. You want to die? Do you think you can die in front of me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. The sky-devouring golden lotus instantly flew out from his body. Streaks of golden chains of order swept across the sky, binding the 6 primordial spirits and pulling them into the sky-devouring golden lotus. With the sky-devouring golden lotus around, it was impossible for them to self-destruct even if they wanted to. No! Zhang Xuhao roared. His face was covered in tears. The 8 half-step supreme beings were all loyal to the Zhang family. They were also his most loyal guards. It could be said that they had watched him grow up. In the end, they were all killed in this battle. Ling Xiao, I swear that I'll kill you. Whether it's your family or friends, your parents, or your family, I'll make sure they die without a burial place. Zhang Xuhao glared at Ling Xiao with incomparable hatred. He decisively crushed the Void Supreme Talisman and instantly left this place. However, Zhang Xuhao's deranged voice still reverberated between heaven and earth, carrying an incomparably cold killing intent and hatred. Zhang Xuhao. Since you're courting death, don't blame me. Ling Xiao's eyes blazed with killing intent. Leaving such a venomous snake alive would cause problems sooner or later. Ling Xiao had already made up his mind. The next time he met Zhang Xuhao, he would definitely take his life. Ling Xiao descended from the void. Su Mainyang and Qin Tong both looked at Ling Xiao with surprise and gratitude. Ling Xiao was about to say something when his eyes suddenly flashed. He said, "Let's leave this place first. Someone's coming." The sound of something breaking through the air could be heard from afar. The battle here was too intense. Although the holy ground was very vast, the surrounding people were still alarmed. Ling Xiao didn't want to attract too much attention, so he quickly left with Su Mainyang and Qin Tong. The land within a radius of 1,000 miles had already turned into ruins. In this battle, several large mountains were turned into dust. The ground was forcefully shaved off by several dozen feet. A river flowed in reverse, turning this place into a lake. Ling Xiao and the others passed through several mountain ranges and flew for over 1,000 miles before stopping at a mountain peak shrouded in clouds and mist. Many thanks to little friend Ling for saving my life. This old man greets you. Thank you, young Master Ling. Qin Tong and Su Mainyang bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. There's no need to be so courteous. The great elder and I are old acquaintances. But how did you get ambushed by Zhang Xuhao? Ling Xiao waved his hand. At the same time, he was a little puzzled. Su Meinyang smiled bitterly and said, now that my nine-tailed fox clan is declining, Zhang Xuhao bribed one of the elders who followed me. So, he lured me into Zhang Xuhao's great demon subduing array. Su Meinyang was a little embarrassed. Her pretty face blushed. She had always prided herself on being resourceful. She didn't expect that she would fail miserably and be tricked by her subordinates. At the same time, Su Meinyang also told Ling Xiao about the enmity between the nine-tailed fox clan and the Zhang clan. Ling Xiao had been hiding in the celestial stone and already knew about this. He was quite emotional. The precious treasure pavilion was an old martial holy land that had lasted for hundreds of thousands of years. It was founded by the nine-tailed fox clan of the demon clan. The bloodline of the nine-tailed fox clan originated from the divine beast nine-tailed celestial fox of ancient times. The number of tails represented the concentration of the bloodline of the nine-tailed fox clan. Moreover, the nine-tailed fox clan was naturally resourceful and kind to others. So, they had already integrated into the human clan and displayed great talent in business. That was how they were able to open the precious treasure pavilion all over the war god continent. However, Ling Xiao didn't expect that the current nine-tailed fox clan would only have a severely injured old ancestor left. Their position in the precious treasure pavilion was precarious, and they were forced to such an extent by the Zhang clan. However, the reason why the nine-tailed fox clan's powerhouses had withered was because of the catastrophe 10,000 years ago. Countless powerhouses fought bloody battles, which made Ling Xiao feel a sense of respect for them. Ling Xiao, I really didn't expect your talent to be so monstrous. You killed 8 half-step supreme beings in a row, and even Zhang Xuhao was severely injured by you. However, you have to be careful. Zhang Xuhao is vengeful and is one of the most outstanding geniuses of this generation of the Zhang clan. If you draw out the supreme being powerhouse behind him, you'll be in danger. Su Meinyang looked at Ling Xiao worriedly. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, Fairy Su, you worry too much. Since I've taken action, I'm not afraid of the Zhang clan's revenge. Anyway, I've already offended quite a number of martial arts sanctuaries. I'm not afraid of one more precious treasure pavilion. Chen Tong and Su Meinyang were stunned and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Ling Xiao was right. Star Palace, Nantian family, Emperor Tomb Mountain, and Sky Demon Palace had all been offended by Ling Xiao. However, this guy was still alive and kicking. However, Su Meinyang also knew that this was because most of the Supreme Being powerhouses were traveling in the extraterritorial star world and hadn't returned to the God of War continent. Otherwise, if a Supreme Being were to take action, Ling Xiao would have to pay with his life. Great Elder, quickly return to Green Hill and tell the old ancestor about what happened in the holy ground. Tell him to be wary of the Zhang clan, but don't take any action. Wait until I return. Su Meinyang said to Chen Tong with a solemn expression. All right, I'll return now. Chen Tong also knew the seriousness of the matter. Before he left, he looked at Ling Xiao earnestly and said, My young friend, my young lady has yet to recover from her injuries. The holy ground is full of danger. I hope you can take care of her. I'll be eternally grateful. Chen Tong bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Great Elder, you're too polite. I'll do my best. Ling Xiao smiled and helped Chen Tong up. Chen Tong looked at Ling Xiao gratefully and took a deep breath. He then turned and walked toward the exit of the holy ground. Fairy Su, how are your injuries? Ling Xiao looked at Su Meinyang and asked. It had to be said that Su Meinyang was an outstanding beauty. She was naturally charming and her every move was filled with endless charm. Ling Xiao was full of praise for her. Perhaps only Yueshan and Phoenix Girl could compete with Su Meinyang. Thank you for your concern, young Master Ling. I've taken a healing elixir and my injuries are under control. I'll be completely healed in a day or two. Although Su Meinyang's face was a little pale, she was in good spirits. Young Master Ling, I have a matter that I hope you can help me with. Su Mainyang's big eyes seemed to be filled with water. Her long eyelashes fluttered and she had an irresistible pleading look. Oh, what's the matter? Chapter 617. I would like to ask young Master Ling to help me to the nine-tailed fox's land of inheritance. Only by obtaining the nine-tailed fox's inheritance can I take back the precious treasure pavilion and save my nine-tailed fox clan. Su Mainyang looked at Ling Xiao pitifully. The nine-tailed fox's land of inheritance? Is it in the holy ground? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he asked softly. That's right. The holy ground is the final resting place of the demonic sages. It is also the place where countless ancient mythical beasts died in battle. There are many mythical beasts' inheritances here. Although many of them have been taken away in the past million years, the nine-tailed fox's inheritance is still intact here. Su Mainyang said slowly, all these years, we have been secretly exploring the holy ground and finally found the nine-tailed fox's land of inheritance. However, it is full of danger. We failed many times and still couldn't get it. Oh. You can't get it and you believe that I can help you? Ling Xiao smiled. Young Master Ling is talented and powerful. Moreover, you are a righteous person. If there is anyone who can help me, it is you. I believe in you. Su Mainyang smiled faintly. Moreover, the nine-tailed fox's land of inheritance has an innate soul essence. When Ling Xiao heard the words innate soul essence, he was shocked. He looked at Su Mainyang and asked, is there really an innate soul essence? An innate soul essence was a spiritual body born from the origin of heaven and earth. It was unfathomable and was the best weapon spirit. Using an innate soul essence as a weapon spirit could forge a weapon that could evolve. It was extremely magical. However, an innate soul essence was too rare. It was only a legend in the God of War continent. When Ling Xiao forged the sky-devouring sword in his previous life, he only used the souls of powerful demonic beasts as weapon spirits. If he could get his hands on an innate soul essence, not only could his sky-devouring sword gradually recover its power, it could even surpass his previous life and become an even more powerful supreme weapon. That's right. Su Mainyang was extremely smart. She was afraid that Ling Xiao would not agree, so she threw out the bait of the innate soul essence. Alright, let's not delay. Let's go. Ling Xiao took in a deep breath and agreed. He didn't agree to help Su Mainyang because of the innate soul essence. Even if he didn't have the innate soul essence, he wouldn't have rejected her for Qintong's sake. It was just that the Khanate spirit essence was too precious. Even Ling Xiao had not obtained such a treasure in his previous life. The inheritance of the nine-tailed fox is in the land of the fallen gods. Su Mainyang and Ling Xiao soared into the sky and flew towards the distance at an extremely fast speed. As she hurried along, she introduced the location of the nine-tailed celestial fox's inheritance to Ling Xiao. Land of the fallen gods. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. The land of the fallen gods could be said to be one of the most dangerous places in the holy ground. It was said that it was the place where the fallen gods had fallen. The void there was extremely unstable, and there could be spatial turbulence and spatial storms at any time. Moreover, there were many divine Dao dangers. Someone had once stepped on a drop of black divine blood, and was instantly turned into ashes. Someone saw the demonic saber that had a mind of its own. It went berserk and hacked dozens of people. Countless experts died in the land of the fallen gods. There was also an ancient divine array there. Although it was broken, the danger was not reduced at all. If one accidentally entered the divine array, even a supreme being would find it difficult to escape, let alone an expert of the imperial path. However, there were also people who had obtained powerful martial arts inheritance, terrifying divine weapons, and even the blood essence of the fallen gods. Their cultivation had improved tremendously from then on. It was no wonder that the nine-tailed fox clan had not been able to obtain the nine-tailed celestial fox's inheritance for so long. It was because the inheritance was in the land of the fallen gods. The nine-tailed celestial fox must have been a powerful divine beast in the ancient times. It would not be easy for a true expert of the fallen gods to obtain its inheritance. Therefore, Ling Xiao also started to become serious. Big Radish, do you know anything about the land of the fallen gods? Ling Xiao asked Big Radish as he took it out. Land of the fallen gods. You want to go to that godforsaken place? If you want to die, don't bring me along. I still want to live for a few more years. Big Radish, who was originally bored to death, was taken out by Ling Xiao. When it heard the words land of the fallen gods, it shuddered and said hurriedly. I know that the land of the fallen gods is very dangerous. However, aren't you a local here? Don't tell me that you are afraid of the land of the fallen gods. Ling Xiao smiled and said. Su Mainyang also looked at Big Radish in surprise. This strange Big Radish looked like a spiritual medicine. However, a spiritual medicine that could speak, could it be the legendary divine medicine? Su Mainyang was shocked. She felt that Ling Xiao was unfathomable. Big Radish laughed bitterly and said, dangerous? The land of the fallen gods is not just dangerous. That is the land of the fallen gods. It is very scary. I have only been there a few times and almost died in there. Big Radish's face froze. Suddenly, it wanted to give itself 2 big slaps for spilling the beans. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. You have been to the land of the fallen gods. That's great. We will leave our safety to you. You can scout ahead. Big Radish's face was filled with tears. Who asked it to have such a big mouth? Great, this malefic star wanted to take its life. Don't be unwilling. There is an innate soul essence in the land of the fallen gods. If there is an extra one, I will reward you with one. After swallowing the innate soul essence, you will probably be able to evolve into a divine medicine, right? Ling Xiao slapped Big Radish and said. One won't do. At least 10. Big Radish said seriously. Ling Xiao was so angry that he was amused. He slapped it again. We haven't even seen the shadow of the innate soul essence and you are already bargaining. Hurry up and scout ahead. Big Radish was hit by Ling Xiao until it was in tears. However, this guy did not learn from his mistakes. Once it thought of the innate soul essence, it agreed as if it was injected with chicken blood. Fairy Su, where is the land of the fallen gods where the land of the fallen gods is? Ling Xiao asked. Su Mainyang immediately took out an ancient map and said with a smile, this is the land of the fallen gods that we have explored. Young Master Ling, you don't have to be so polite. Just call me Mainyang. Alright, then you don't have to be so polite. Call me Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao took the map and threw it to Big Radish with a smile. Then I will call you Brother Ling. Su Mainyang smiled faintly. Ling Xiao rolled his eyes. This Su Mainyang really knew how to take advantage of the situation. He was only 18 years old. No matter what, Su Mainyang was older than him. Yet, she was not embarrassed at all. Brother Ling, the fallen gods of the fallen foxes have a long lifespan. In terms of the lifespan of the human race, I am only 15 years old this year. Su Mainyang seemed to have seen through Ling Xiao's thoughts and said with a smile. Tianfeng Canyon. Can the two of you stop flirting with each other? The land of the fallen gods is actually in this godforsaken place. I advise you not to go there. It is too dangerous there. Chapter 618. Tianfeng Canyon. What's that place? Ling Xiao asked. Tianfeng Canyon is deep in the land of the fallen gods. It's a very strange canyon. Tianfeng winds howl there all year round, and the air is filled with chaos. That kind of Tianfeng is comparable to the third tribulation of the 4 symbols of a half-step supreme being, the Tianfeng tribulation. It's extremely terrifying. Even a half-step supreme being would be blown to smithereens. Why don't we not go? We'll really die. Big Radish looked at Ling Xiao pitifully. Tianfeng Tribulation. The Tianfeng Tribulation is triggered by the heaven and earth. It's a tribulation that targets the primordial spirit of a half-step supreme being. Why would it appear in a canyon out of nowhere? I'm afraid there's a formation there. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said slowly. Su Meinyang nodded and said, that's right. The heavenly wind tribulation wasn't formed out of thin air. According to our speculation, it was formed by an ancient divine formation. A senior of our nine-tailed fox clan once entered the Heavenly Wind Canyon with a protective treasure and explored the aura of the nine-tailed heavenly fox. However, he was unable to reach the final step of the inheritance. Since it's a formation, there must be a way. Let's go take a look first. Big Radish, lead the way. Ling Xiao decided. In his previous life, Ling Xiao was the most powerful person in the world. Not only was his combat strength peerless and his talent unparalleled, but he had also cultivated the elixir, weapon, and formation skills to the Supreme Being realm. Ling Xiao's attainments in formations could be said to be unparalleled. In his previous life, he had seen many ancient formations and even deciphered some of their secrets. Hence, he wasn't afraid of the so-called ancient formations. The land of the fallen gods was located in the west of the holy ground. It was shrouded in a layer of faint black light all year round. The air of death permeated the air, and not a single blade of grass grew. The world was dark and the void was trembling. There seemed to be cracks in the 9 heavens. All around them was a vast land with lonely barren mountains standing on the ground. Broken weapons and corpses could be seen everywhere. However, after countless years, those seemingly powerful weapons had long lost their divinity and became scrap metal. Those corpses were incomparably huge. Ling Xiao saw a 1,000-feet-long skeleton lying on the ground in front of him. It looked like a divine bull. There was a huge hole in its abdomen, and its head was missing. Obviously, it was left behind from the ancient war of the gods. Such huge skeletons could be seen everywhere. As he walked forward, Ling Xiao even saw the corpses of true dragons, true phoenixes, white tigers, cheong qis, and countless other powerful divine beasts. Although so many years had passed, those skeletons were still covered in a layer of mysterious brilliance, surging with killing intent. Ling Xiao felt that if he dared to approach, he would be instantly attacked by the baleful aura and would not be able to escape death. On the barren mountain, there were black bloodstains. That was the blood of a deity, and it seemed to have been contaminated by some kind of power. The enormous mountain range was corroded into a small hill. The big radish trembled as it led the way at the front. Its face was dejected. However, he had been to the land of the fallen gods a few times before. Hence, he was able to lead Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang into the depths of the land of the fallen gods. Along the way, Ling Xiao felt a few fatal threats. There were powerful broken divine formations and strange divine spirits, but they were all avoided by the big radish cleverly. The sky ahead was dark and the earth had collapsed. There was a chilly wind howling, and a huge canyon appeared. There were barren mountains on both sides. From afar, Ling Xiao could faintly see that there were a total of 81 barren mountains around the canyon. Only the canyon in the middle was like a meandering dragon that led to the depths. That is the Tianfeng Canyon. However, I have never seen it before. The Tianfeng Canyon is extremely terrifying. You must be careful. When the big radish saw the canyon and heard the terrifying chilly wind howling, it was so frightened that it quickly ran back and jumped onto Ling Xiao's shoulder. That's right. This is the Tianfeng Canyon. Su Meinyang revealed a surprised expression and said slowly, in the Tianfeng Canyon, the most terrifying thing is the Tianfeng Trial. However, I have brought the Jiu Shao Huan Zither this time. As long as we activate the power of the Jiu Shao Huan Zither, we will be able to enter safely. Ling Xiao frowned slightly and said, in your current state, can you still activate the Jiu Shao Huan Zither? Although Su Mainyang's injuries had recovered by more than half, it would be very strenuous for her to continue activating the Jiu Shao Huan zither. I should be able to hold on for 6 hours. 6 hours is enough for us to enter the Tianfeng Canyon. Su Mainyang smiled and said. 6 hours, huh? No way. Even if we enter the Tianfeng Canyon, if we encounter any danger, we are still counting on your Jiu Shao Huan zither. Ling Xiao shook his head and looked at the big radish maliciously. The big radish felt a chill down its spine. It looked at Ling Xiao warily and said, "Why are you looking at me with such maliciousness?" Cough cough. Big radish, contribute a drop of divine liquid. A drop of divine liquid is enough for Su Mainyang to recover her lost life source. Only when her injuries are healed can she activate the Jiu Shao Huan zither. Ling Xiao coughed dryly and said. What? The big radish jumped up immediately as if its tail had been stepped on. It looked at Ling Xiao angrily and said, "You shameless Ling, it's bad enough that you asked me to scout the way. Now you want my divine liquid? No way." The big radish felt very wronged. Was this the treatment of a supreme divine medicine? Whoever obtained a supreme divine medicine would treat it like a treasure. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, asked it to scout the way and did not care about its life or death. Now, he wanted its divine liquid. Although the big radish was a great bright king ginseng, a supreme divine medicine, it only had a dozen drops of divine liquid in its body. It was an existence that gathered the essence of heaven and earth. It was like the essence of blood in a human body. It would take a long time to recover a drop of it. Ling Xiao chuckled and said, "Big radish, we are already here. When we find the innate soul essence, you will be able to evolve into a supreme divine medicine." What is a mere drop of divine liquid? In the end, under Ling Xiao's coercion, the big radish reluctantly contributed a drop of divine liquid. Buzz! A drop of golden divine pearl flew out from the big radish's body. It looked bright and resplendent, and its fragrance overflowed. The big radish immediately became a little listless, and it looked a little listless. Mainyang, the big radish is a quasi-divine medicine. Swallow this drop of divine liquid, and your injuries and lost life source should be able to recover immediately. Ling Xiao gave the drop of divine pearl to Su Mainyang. Brother Ling, you are too good to me. I really don't know how to repay you. Su Mainyang's pretty face was slightly red. She looked at Ling Xiao with her big watery eyes, which were full of gratitude and smiles. Her red dress fluttered, and her towering breasts rose and fell with her breathing. Her figure was curvaceous, and her entire body exuded a different kind of charm that made one's blood boil. Chapter 6:19. You're welcome. Hurry up and heal your wounds. We still have to go to Tianfeng Canyon. Ling Xiao said with a calm expression. Su Mainyang looked at Ling Xiao with some resentment, as if blaming him for not understanding her feelings. She took the divine liquid and swallowed it. Boom! All of a sudden, a majestic life essence surged forth. Su Mainyang's entire body was glowing with radiance. Blood qi filled the air. Behind her, a gigantic fox vaguely appeared. Its 8 furry tails shot up into the sky, blooming with divine splendor. 8 tails bloodline. Ling Xiao's eyes moved. Su Mainyang's bloodline was indeed extraordinary. If she really obtained the inheritance of the 9-tailed celestial fox, she might be able to evolve into the 9-tailed celestial fox and become a true 9-tailed celestial fox with the body of a divine beast. A true divine beast bloodline would definitely have the terrifying combat strength to go against the flow and challenge those of a higher level. Long Outyen, for example, had the bloodline of a true divine beast, the true dragon. His combat strength was unparalleled and terrifying. The divine liquid of a quasi-divine medicine was extremely precious and contained the power of creation. After Su Mainyang swallowed the divine liquid, a powerful force erupted from her body in just 2 hours. Her skin was crystal clear, and blood qi surged. Her body exuded a faint supreme divine aura. Although Su Mainyang's cultivation had reached the half-step supreme realm, she had not gone through the tribulation of 4 symbols. However, with the help of the divine liquid, if Su Mainyang was willing, she could quickly go through the tribulation of earth and become a half-step supreme being. Alright, let's go to Tianfeng Canyon. Su Mainyang stood up and smiled at Ling Xiao. At the same time, a light flashed in her palm, and the Jiu Shao Huan zither appeared in her hand. Let's go. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Whoosh! Roar! The huge canyon in front of them was like the mouth of an Archean giant beast. It was pitch black, but there were waves of chilly winds howling. It was extremely terrifying. Even from afar, they could feel the cold aura. It made them shiver, as if it was going to cut them into pieces. Around Tianfeng Canyon, there were many powerful skeletons that exuded monstrous killing intent. Clang! The Jiu Shao Huan zither emitted a red glow. Along with the sound of the zither, ancient runes flew out and formed a bounded domain, enveloping Su Mainyang and Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao and Su Mainyang walked into the Tianfeng Canyon together and were swallowed by the howling Tianfeng tribulation. Just as Ling Xiao and Su Mainyang entered the Tianfeng Canyon, a group of uninvited guests arrived at the fallen god land. Brother Zhang, are you sure Ling Xiao entered the land of the fallen gods? The sixth saint's eyes flashed as he asked Zhang Shuhao, who was beside him. That's right. Brother Di, Brother Nantian, Ling Xiao, and that bitch Su Mainyang want to obtain the 9-tailed celestial fox's inheritance. It's in the land of the fallen gods. I only want that bitch Su Mainyang. Ling Xiao and his belongings are all yours. Zhang Shuhao's eyes were filled with cold killing intent as he spoke slowly. Other than Zhang Shuhao and a black-robed elder, there was also the Nantian Heavenly King and 2 other elders of the Nantian family. The 6 of them were all at the half-step to honorable realm. Their strength was unparalleled. After Zhang Shuhao escaped, he met the 6th saint and the Nantian Heavenly King. They were searching for Ling Xiao's whereabouts. They hit it off immediately and decided to kill Ling Xiao in the land of the fallen gods after Zhang Shuhao provided them with Ling Xiao's whereabouts. Young Master Zhang, you said that Ling Xiao's shout was enough to make the ancient Dubhe sword in your hand freeze? It seems like this lad's identity is very suspicious. The black-robed elder beside the 6th saint said slowly. Oh. Elder, have you guessed something? Zhang Shuhao's body trembled as he asked hurriedly. According to what I know, the ancient Dubhe sword in your hand was forged by the strongest person in the world 10,000 years ago, the sky-devouring supreme. He gave it to his eldest disciple, Mu Linfeng. Therefore, only the sky-devouring supreme and Mu Linfeng can scare the ancient Dubhe sword with just a shout. Perhaps even Mu Linfeng can't do it. The black-robed elder's eyes lit up. What? Elder, you said that Ling Xiao is the sky-devouring supreme from 10,000 years ago? I don't think that's possible, right? The 6th saint and Zhang Shuhao both shuddered as disbelief filled their eyes. What's impossible about that? How could someone of the sky-devouring supreme's level die so easily? Perhaps he could be reincarnated. However, even if Ling Xiao isn't the sky-devouring supreme, he must be related to the sky-devouring supreme. Perhaps he has the inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme. The black-robed elder said slowly. The 6th saint and the South Sky King's eyes lit up. The inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme? The sky-devouring supreme was the strongest person in the world 10,000 years ago. It was said that he was a peerless expert who had touched the immortal realm. What if they could obtain his inheritance? The 6th Holy Son, the Southern Heavenly King, and the others were all excited. Moreover, Ling Xiao was suspected to have the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Therefore, no matter what, Ling Xiao must die. Zhang Shuhao's eyes lit up as he said, no matter who Ling Xiao is, he's only in the noble realm. With so many of us and 2 supreme weapons, we can definitely kill Ling Xiao. The 6th saint had the King of God's shroud and the South Sky King had also brought the supreme weapon of the Nantian family. Other than helping the sky-burning demon emperor, they were also going to kill Ling Xiao. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go. The black-robed elder nodded as a strange look appeared in his eyes. The group quickly entered the land of the fallen gods. Rumble. In the Tianfeng Canyon, horrifying winds howled as they contained the power to destroy everything. The surrounding rocks were left behind by the Tianfeng tribulation for countless years. The corpses on the ground were the strongest ferocious beasts and divine beasts. Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang went deeper into the canyon. The barrier formed by the Jiu Shao Huan Zither trembled slightly under the Tianfeng tribulation. Big Radish's face was filled with fear as it clutched Ling Xiao's clothes tightly. They had already been in the canyon for 6 to 4 hours, but they still had not found any trace of the nine-tailed celestial fox. Su Meinyang's face turned pale. Activating the Jiu Shao Huan Zither for a long time was quite a burden for her. At this moment, she was even more grateful to Ling Xiao. If it was not for Big Radish's drop of divine liquid, she would not have been able to hold on until now. Buzz. Chaotic qi began to rise in the surroundings as a strong sense of danger appeared in Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang's hearts. The Xianhuang qi rose in the surroundings as black waves surged. The Tianfeng tribulation howled and there were scenes of flames soaring into the sky. The 4 tribulations of earth, water, wind, and fire filled the air as they intertwined and formed an ancient formation. This is the ancient divine formation. Ling Xiao, the inheritance of the nine-tailed celestial fox, is in the ancient divine formation. However, this ancient divine formation is extremely terrifying. Countless experts of the nine-tailed fox clan have died in this ancient divine formation. Su Meinyang said with excitement and worry. Rumble. The ancient divine formation in front of them formed a space of its own and evolved into various mysterious phenomena. Chaotic qi rose as though countless scenes of the birth and death of worlds appeared before Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang. Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang stood there. Although they were enveloped by the barrier of the Jiu Shao Huan Zither, Ling Xiao still felt that a terrifying danger would befall them if they took a wrong step. It's actually a complete ancient divine formation. Chapter 620. And it's a formation that targets the primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp. No wonder he sensed danger. Even if he had the Jiu Shao Huan Zither, his primordial spirit would be instantly obliterated by the formation if he took a wrong step. That's right. Su Meinyang looked at Ling Xiao with some admiration and said, this ancient divine formation, let's call it the soul-destroying divine formation. The ancestors of the nine-tailed fox clan have explored it for generations, and countless people have died in this formation. We can always feel the aura of the nine-tailed celestial fox in the formation, but we have never been able to break the formation. That's strange. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strange look. He said, if the nine-tailed celestial fox is really in this soul-destroying divine formation, it means that the formation was left behind by it. It should have left the nine-tailed fox clan with a chance of survival. However, the experts of the nine-tailed fox clan have all died, so there is only one possibility. This soul-destroying divine formation was set up to trap the nine-tailed celestial fox. Su Meinyang trembled and said with some shock. No. This soul-destroying divine formation should have been set up by the nine-tailed celestial fox because there is the aura of the nine-tailed celestial fox's bloodline in this formation. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His attainments in formations were very strong, and he had come into contact with many ancient divine formations 10,000 years ago. Therefore, he could tell that the person who set up this ancient divine formation must be the nine-tailed celestial fox. Then why did the ancestors of the nine-tailed fox clan die in it? Su Meinyang asked with some disbelief. Ling Xiao said slowly, because this soul-destroying divine formation is no longer the original soul-destroying divine formation. To be exact, it has been tampered with by someone else. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. Tampered with by someone else? Su Meinyang was a little shocked. Someone who could tamper with the ancient divine formation, could it be an enemy of the nine-tailed celestial fox? It should be a supreme expert among the extraterrestrial demons. Ling Xiao said slowly, with a trace of coldness in his eyes. When Ling Xiao entered the ancient divine formation, he felt the tremor of the wordless heavenly book, which was a special aura emitted by the extraterrestrial demons. Extraterrestrial demons? Su Meinyang's body shook, and her expression turned solemn. She suddenly remembered that the nine-tailed celestial fox should be a figure from 1,000,000 years ago. The nine-tailed fox clan inherited the bloodline of the nine-tailed fox, but they knew very little about the history of 1,000,000 years ago. They only knew that 1,000,000 years ago, perhaps like 10,000 years ago, the extraterrestrial demons descended and set off a shocking bloody war. Countless god beasts fell, and countless god spirits died in battle. That battle dyed the heavens red, and all living creatures died. From then on, the war god continent entered a dark age. If it was really the extraterrestrial demons who had done something, perhaps it would make sense. After all, the original intention of the nine-tailed fox to leave behind the divine formation was for the descendants of the nine-tailed fox clan to be able to obtain the inheritance. It should not be like now, where countless experts of the nine-tailed fox clan had been killed by the divine formation. Be careful, follow me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he took the first step. Rumble. It was as if the god-slaying grand array had been triggered. Endless chaotic fog surged and streaks of black demonic light filled the sky. They contained extremely terrifying killing intent as they shot towards the glabella of Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang. Buzz! The Jiu Shao Huan zither shone brightly, and the supreme divine might filled the air. However, it could only block part of the black demonic light. There were still streaks of demonic light that penetrated the boundary, exuding an aura that could destroy everything. They wanted to completely destroy the primordial spirits of Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang. What? Su Meinyang's face turned pale. In front of the demonic light, she actually felt a sense of powerlessness. The threat of death surged in her heart. Sure enough, it's the extraterrestrial demons who are playing tricks. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and the wordless heavenly book suddenly shot out from his glabella. The light in the void rolled and swallowed the black demonic light. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with faint runes as he took 49 steps forward. The 49 footprints converged and finally formed a mysterious rune. Ling Xiao slapped it out, and it exploded in the chaotic world in front of him. Rumble. Divine Tao runes filled the air, and the black demonic light surged. Ling Xiao could vaguely see that between heaven and earth, countless runes were intertwined, and innumerable principal lines were spreading out. The divine Tao and demonic Tao clashed, causing the grand array to become extremely chaotic. So that's how it is. Ling Xiao was enlightened. This ancient divine array was indeed left behind by the nine-tailed celestial fox, but it was disturbed by the demonic Tao principle of the extraterrestrial demon, which stimulated part of the power of the ancient divine array. Any expert of the nine-tailed fox clan who entered the grand array would instantly trigger the killing intent of the grand array and be completely annihilated. A divine array constructed with the power of space as the foundation and the power of stars as the framework? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. With his attainments in formations, he could vaguely see the origin of this ancient divine array. Speaking of which, this ancient divine array was not a killing array, but a formation space. It must contain the inheritance of the nine-tailed celestial fox, but it was disturbed by the extraterrestrial demon, causing the array to reverse and form a killing array. Ling Xiao, is there any way to break the array? Su Meinyang asked. The power of the divine array was too vast and terrifying. If it were not for the wordless heavenly book, the terrifying demonic light would have obliterated her primordial spirit in an instant. After all, the ancient divine array was an ancient divine array. Even if there was only a trace of its power, it was not something that ordinary people could withstand. Let me give it a try. Ling Xiao said slowly. He grabbed Su Meinyang's hand and walked forward slowly. Follow me. Don't get lost. Su Meinyang's hand was as white as mutton fat jade and was incomparably soft. Su Meinyang was caught off guard by Ling Zhao's hand, and her pretty face immediately turned red. However, when she raised her head, she found that Ling Zhao looked dignified and was looking around. He did not notice her. Su Meinyang immediately heaved a sigh of relief in her heart, but she was also inexplicably disappointed. Buzz! Ling Zhao's body shone brightly. His primordial spirit was instantly divided into hundreds of millions of streaks. Each streak turned into a talisman and fell into the surrounding void. This large array seemed to have been fixed by Ling Zhao in an instant. Moreover, the aura of Ling Zhao and Su Meinyang was concealed. The fatal danger that was originally there slowly disappeared. A familiar and amiable aura came over. Su Meinyang's face revealed a trace of surprise and said, "Ling Zhao, I feel the aura of the nine-tailed celestial fox." "Very good. Follow this aura and move forward. Although the large array cannot be broken for the time being, I have already isolated the large array's hostility towards us. We should be able to walk to the core of the array. When we get there, we will consider how to break the array." Ling Zhao's face was slightly pale. Even with the protection of the wordless heavenly book, Ling Zhao was under great pressure to divide such a large amount of primordial spirit power to resist the power of the ancient divine array. After all, a divine being that had transcended heaven and earth and life and death. Even if it was only a trace of its power, it was not something that ordinary warriors could contend with. Okay. Chapter 621. The surroundings were filled with a chaotic fog, giving off an ancient and mysterious aura. The surroundings were filled with chaos and mysterious flowing lights flashed. In a trance, it was as if they had arrived before the creation of the world. That's the Khanate spirit essence. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. Immediately, he saw a bright star flickering in the primal chaos fog in front of him. It was slowly moving about. The star looked like a human figure. It was dazzling and crystal clear, giving off a wave of divinity. It was only the size of a palm and was very mysterious. Is it really the Khanate spirit essence? Master, catch it quickly. With the Khanate spirit essence, I can completely break through to the supreme divine medicine realm. Big Radish was even more excited than Ling Zhao. Its eyes were shining. If it was not afraid of the power of the ancient divine formation, it would have rushed out. The Khanate spirit essence was a kind of spirit that was born naturally. It contained the most original divine power and was the purest primordial spirit without an owner. The Khanate spirit essence was not very useful to martial experts. At most, it could increase the power of the primordial spirit by a little. However, it could be used to refine powerful magical weapons that could grow. After refining a normal weapon, it would require a huge amount of resources to continue improving it. However, with the Khanate spirit essence as the weapon spirit, the weapon could automatically absorb the Khanate origin energy to evolve and become stronger. The Khanate spirit essence is a supreme treasure that can only be born in the land of origin of the world. Why would it appear in this ancient divine formation? Could it be that this leads to the origin sea? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he remembered that he had accidentally entered the origin sea. However, although he was thinking, he did not stop and quickly headed towards the Khanate spirit essence. The chaotic fog was ethereal and 3 Khanate spirit essences appeared in front of him. However, they were extremely alert as if they had sensed Ling Zhao's aura. In a flash, they disappeared into the void. However, Ling Zhao was already prepared. He activated the wordless heavenly book and 3 divine chains of order shot out at an extremely fast speed. The 3 Khanate spirit essences were immediately captured by the wordless heavenly book and pulled out from the void. The Khanate spirit essence could turn invisible and travel through the void at an extremely fast speed. Without the wordless heavenly book, Ling Zhao could only watch helplessly. In his current state, there was no way he could capture the Khanate spirit essence. Innate soul essences, ha ha ha. Continue to capture them, the more the better. Big Radish's face was filled with excitement. It twisted its fat, and its saliva almost flowed out. Just like that, Ling Xiao continued forward, and he didn't let go of any Khanate soul essences that he encountered, and he captured a total of 26 Khanate soul essences. Whoosh! A strand of golden light flickered ahead, and it was like a sun had risen. It seemed dazzling and resplendent, and it contained a peerlessly formidable fluctuation of divinity. What? Such a huge innate soul essence, it's definitely the king of innate soul essences. Catch it, catch it. Big Radish's entire body shook, and it began to shout loudly as if it had been injected with chicken blood. Ling Xiao was also shocked. This Xiantian soul essence was dozens or even hundreds of times more powerful than the previous ones. The pure Yuan spirit ripples were like the sun, too bright and dazzling. Whoosh! Without needing Big Radish to say anything, Ling Xiao made his move. Dozens of divine chains of order swept across the sky, and like a huge net, they sealed the void in all directions and went to capture the Khanate Soul Essence King. Rumble. The Khanate Soul Essence King seemed to have sensed great danger, and it began to struggle violently. Golden lightning burst out from its body, and ancient runes exploded one after another. The dozens of divine chains of order seemed to be unable to withstand it, and they were about to break. Buzz! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply, and he immediately activated the wordless heavenly book with all his might. Countless blazing divine lights swept across the sky, and in the end, they bound the Khanate Soul Essence King, pulled it into the wordless heavenly book, and suppressed it. After the Khanate Soul Essence King was suppressed, Ling Xiao immediately sensed that the danger from the ancient divine formation had disappeared. There was a dazzling light in front of them, and a floating mountain appeared, emitting an eternal light. Ling Xiao and Su Meinyang looked at each other, and then they quickly flew toward the floating mountain. That's not a floating mountain. That's a huge skeleton. Su Meinyang's body trembled, and her eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. In front of them, chaotic chi pervaded the air, and a skeleton that was tens of thousands of feet tall was floating in the void. It was pure white and flawless, and looked like a huge fox. There were 9 huge tailbones behind it, and they looked like divine pillars that shot up into the sky. It's the 9-tailed celestial fox. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he sensed a powerful and mysterious aura. It exuded an eternal divine Tao, and it was immortal and indestructible. This was the skeleton of the 9-tailed celestial fox, and it was a 9-tailed celestial fox in the divine spirit realm. That kind of powerful and terrifying aura was something that even a supreme being expert would not be able to withstand. It's really the 9-tailed celestial fox. We've finally found it. Su Meinyang's eyes were filled with excitement, and her breathing became rapid. Countless ancestors of the 9-tailed fox clan were unable to come here, but she, Su Meinyang, had done it. This skeleton was tens of thousands of feet tall, but Ling Xiao could see that its glabella had cracked open. There was a huge hole that was filled with black demonic chi, and a broken black war spear was stuck in it. Although the broken black spear had lost its power and turned into scrap metal, it still exuded a ferocious aura that filled the air. Ling Xiao could vaguely see a peerless expert in ancient times with a monstrous demonic chi holding a black war spear. He pierced through layers of the void and killed the 9-tailed celestial fox here. That battle must have been very tragic. Even the 9-tailed celestial fox, who had stepped into the divine spirit realm, could not withstand such a terrifying spear strike. How strong were those extraterrestrial demons? Ling Xiao's heart sank slightly. He originally thought that the strongest among the extraterrestrial demons should be the heavenly demon king, who was comparable to a titled supreme being. But now, it seemed that even the 9-tailed celestial fox had been killed. Perhaps there were still heavenly demon gods above the heavenly demon kings. Slowly uncovering the truth shrouded in the fog of time made Ling Xiao feel more and more shocked. Buzz! At this moment, a mysterious aura emerged from the 9-tailed celestial fox's body. It seemed to be filled with red light, and it contained a pure and mysterious demonic power. In an instant, it fell on Su Meinyang's body. Su Meinyang's body flashed with light, and she instantly turned into a white fox. Her fur was pure white, and there was not a speck of dust on it. Behind her, there were 8 furry tails that rose to the sky. A strong bloodline connection appeared between Su Mainyang and the 9-tailed celestial fox. My descendant, you're finally here. Chapter 622. The 9-tailed celestial fox's body flashed, and a white-clothed woman appeared in the void. The white-clothed woman had a flawless face. Her black hair was like a waterfall, and her eyes were bright and deep, emitting a mysterious light. Her skin was like jade, and her curves were exquisite. Her entire body emitted an ethereal temperament that was untainted by the mortal world. The white-clothed woman stood in the void, and the chaotic fog around her seemed to have dispersed. Greetings, ancestor. Su Mainyang knelt down respectfully. I have waited for 1,000,000 years, and you are finally here. When I pass the inheritance of the 9-tailed celestial fox clan to you, my mission will be complete. The white-clothed woman said with a faint smile. Ancestor, how did you fall here? And what is this ancient divine array? Su Mainyang asked doubtfully. Ling Xiao glanced at the white-clothed woman indifferently and sighed in his heart. This white-clothed woman was not the primordial spirit of the 9-tailed celestial fox. It was just a mark left behind by the 9-tailed celestial fox. Moreover, it was extremely weak now. He was afraid that her soul would dissipate soon. 1,000,000 years ago, a great calamity descended. My 9-tailed celestial fox clan fought a bloody battle under the leadership of the demon saint. Unfortunately, the enemy was too strong. In the end, we were powerless to reverse the situation, and I could only fall here. The white-clothed woman sighed softly, and her voice was filled with countless emotions. Are the enemy the extraterrestrial demons? How strong are they? Where did they come from? Why did they cause this great calamity? Su Mainyang asked softly. Extraterrestrial demons? This name is appropriate. They are indeed not creatures of this world, but where did they come from? I don't know. I only know that they are very strong, far beyond your imagination. That great calamity overturned heaven and earth. Even I was just a chess piece, and I didn't know the truth of the great calamity. The white-clothed woman said slowly. Ling Xiao's body shook. The 9-tailed celestial fox was a supreme expert of the divine spirit realm. She actually said that she was just a chess piece, and she didn't even know the truth of the great calamity. Then, what was hidden 1,000,000 years ago? The white-clothed woman glanced at Su Mainyang, and there was a trace of satisfaction in her eyes. She said, Your aptitude is good. You should be able to advance to the 9-tailed realm after receiving my inheritance. As for the great calamity, you don't need to delve into it. When the world overturns and all creatures die, there will naturally be a chance of survival. The lady in white glanced at Ling Xiao with a strange look in her eyes. She is the extraterrestrial demons. Is. The woman in white said slowly, this formation is called the 9-tailed coiling divine formation. Before I died, I set it up with my body's essence, blood, and remnant primordial spirit to suppress a heavily injured heavenly fiend celestial. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Just as he had expected, there was a heavenly demon god above the heavenly demon king. That's right. In that battle, my primordial spirit was destroyed by the heavenly demon, but he was also seriously injured. His body was shattered, and his primordial spirit was silent. He fell into the state of returning to the void. I suppressed him with the 9-tailed divine formation, and at the same time, I waited for the descendants of the 9-tailed celestial fox clan to come. But I didn't expect that although the heavenly demon couldn't escape from the 9-tailed divine formation for the past 1,000,000 years, he could exert the law of demons to affect the formation. He used the secret door that I left for the descendants of the 9-tailed fox clan to activate the killing intent of the great formation and kill all living creatures. He was afraid that someone would get my inheritance and kill him completely. 1,000,000 years have passed. If you didn't come, he might really break out of the formation one day. The white-clothed woman said softly. She was just a primordial spirit imprint. Her original body had died a long time ago, and she couldn't affect the nine-tailed divine formation at all. So, although she knew that the heavenly demon could affect the nine-tailed divine formation, she couldn't do anything about it. Break out of the formation. Su Meinyang was shocked. How terrifying was the heavenly demon that could kill the nine-tailed celestial fox? If the heavenly demon really broke out of the formation, the entire war god continent would be in a bloodbath. I have a feeling that those fellows are going to appear again. Blood will stain the blue sky, the world will turn yellow, and all living creatures will die. Everything will cease to exist. But there will definitely be a ray of hope in the great calamity. Follow this honorable envoy well. He will bring life and hope to the nine-tailed celestial fox clan. The white-clothed woman's voice was low. Then, she looked at Ling Xiao with a pleading look in her eyes. Honorable envoy. Are you talking about me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked slowly. Honorable envoy, please protect the nine-tailed celestial fox clan in the great calamity. I will be eternally grateful. The white-clothed woman bowed to Ling Xiao. You know me? Or do you know who I am? Ling Xiao was shocked. Speaking of which, even if he was the most powerful person in the war god continent 10,000 years ago, he probably didn't have any interactions with the nine-tailed celestial fox clan from 1,000,000 years ago, right? Could the honorable envoy be referring to the wordless heavenly book? I can't say. Honorable envoy, you will understand everything. The white-clothed woman said slowly. Her voice was ethereal and her figure was a little dim. My descendant, I don't have much time left. I hope you can obtain my inheritance and lead the nine-tailed celestial fox clan in the great calamity in the future. The road ahead will be difficult. Take care. The white-clothed woman sighed softly and pointed at Su Meinyang's glabella. Buzz! A dazzling light came from the nine-tailed celestial fox clan and instantly entered Su Meinyang's glabella. Su Meinyang's body trembled. An ancient, desolate, mysterious and vast aura spread out from her body. Her chi and blood surged like a vast and turbulent river. A dazzling light wrapped around Su Meinyang in an instant. Vaguely, a powerful nine-tailed celestial fox appeared behind Su Meinyang. It stood in the chaos and whistled. It was vast, mysterious and terrifying. Honorable envoy, since you have obtained the sky-devouring secret skill, let me give you a hand. The white-clothed woman's figure was extremely illusory. A light flashed in her hand. Suddenly, a white pearl flew out from the nine-tailed celestial fox clan's body and slowly fell into Ling Xiao's hand. Pearl of the world. Ling Xiao was shocked. He didn't expect the white-clothed woman to give him such a great gift. Chapter 623. Unfortunately, if a paragon died, his minor world would be destroyed, and the world pearl would return to primal chaos. It would be very difficult to preserve it. This was the nine-tailed heavenly fox's world pearl, which contained the magical laws of space of a god-spirit expert. It was something that even a paragon's world pearl couldn't compare to. Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring secret magic required him to open up a minor world inside of him in order to create the heaven-devourer cauldron. That was why he had been searching for the 3 types of sage medicines he needed to concoct the world pill. But now that he had the nine-tailed heavenly fox's world pearl, if he wanted to break through, he could create the heaven-devourer cauldron. This is a gift I can't refuse. As long as it's within my power, I'll definitely protect the nine-tailed heavenly fox clan. Ling Xiao sighed softly as he looked at the woman in white and said solemnly. Many thanks. She said with a charming smile. Eyes glittering, Ling Xiao said, I'd like to know the current state of the heaven devil. Perhaps I can try to destroy it. The eye of the nine-tailed god coil formation is my corpse, she said. The nascent divinity of the heaven devil has been split into 9 parts, which are sealed within my 9 tails. Perhaps you can give it a try. If you can destroy the nascent divinity of the heaven devil, then the nine-tailed god coil formation will be broken. By this point, she was so faint that it was almost impossible to see her, as if she were a dying candle. Farewell, exalted emissary. The woman in white sighed softly. She glanced at her surroundings, seemingly reluctant to part with them. Then, her body instantly disappeared into the void. Ling Zhao's heart was filled with emotions. This time, he met the nine-tailed celestial fox, a peerless expert from 1,000,000 years ago. It was like a dream. Although the nine-tailed celestial fox answered some of his questions, it made Ling Zhao see even more mysteries. Let's deal with the heaven devil first. Eyes flashing, Ling Zhao walked over to the corpse of the nine-tailed heavenly fox. Although the heaven devil had been sealed for 1,000,000 years, and its nascent divinity had been split into 9 parts, it was still not something an ordinary heaven devil king could compare to. Even if Ling Zhao had the wordless heavenly tome, which was a precious treasure that could deal with otherworldly heaven devils, he still had to be careful. The corpse of the nine-tailed heavenly fox was 30,000 meters tall, and its 9 tail bones were high up into the sky, surrounded by a faint primal chaos energy. Ling Zhao instructed Big Radish to protect Su Mainyang while he went to the tailbone alone. Young man, save this god. This god will teach you a peerless divine technique and grant you immortality. Ling Zhao stood in front of the first tailbone. Suddenly, a mysterious wave of energy spread out, directly entering Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness. It brought with it a powerful charm. Heavenly Devil God. A cold glint flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. He smiled faintly and said, Heavenly Demon God, you can't even protect yourself, yet you dare to charm me? Wang. Suddenly, a black demonic shadow appeared on the white and flawless tailbone. It had 2 horns on its head and black scales all over its body. It exuded a ferocious demonic aura. His eyes were scarlet, revealing a bloodthirsty and cruel light as he stared at Ling Zhao. Ant-like thing. Even the 9-tailed celestial fox couldn't kill me. You think you can kill me? A cold voice rang out with an icy ripple, as if it wanted to shatter Ling Zhao's soul. However, the heavenly demon god was already suppressed by the formation. The only thing he could do was to reveal himself and threaten Ling Zhao. Naturally, Ling Zhao would not be frightened by him. Is that so? Ling Zhao could not be bothered to talk nonsense with him. A bright light shone from his glabella. Immediately, the wordless heavenly book flew out, exuding a blazing light as it pounced on the heavenly demon god. The wordless heavenly book exuded a joyful wave as if it had seen a delicacy. Without needing Ling Zhao to activate it, it began to devour the heavenly demon god in a frenzy. What? You have the wordless heavenly book? You're the red dragon. No, you're not him. Who are you? After being suppressed for 1,000,000 years, the heavenly demon god's brain seemed to have stopped working. When he saw the wordless heavenly book flying over, his eyes revealed an extremely shocked expression as he roared in a frenzy. I'm the one who wants your life. Ling Zhao's eyes were cold. The wordless heavenly book landed on the tailbone. Divine chains of order intertwined and pierced through the void, grabbing at the heavenly demon god who was suppressed within. Rumble. The heavenly demon god began to struggle violently. His huge tailbone began to vibrate. Chaos boiled and demonic light surged. The 9-tailed celestial fox's skeleton seemed like it was about to explode. However, the wordless heavenly book seemed to be a natural counter to the extraterrestrial demons. No matter how the heavenly demon god struggled, he was still slowly devoured by the wordless heavenly book. A powerful force surged into the wordless heavenly book. Ah! I can't accept this, the heavenly demon god was in a frenzy. He roared loudly and struggled violently. The 9-tailed divine formation faintly showed signs of shattering as if it could not withstand the heavenly demon god's struggle. Buzz! The wordless heavenly book floated in the chaos. It was ancient and mysterious, exuding a vast aura. Countless divine chains of order intertwined and devoured the primordial spirit of the heavenly demon god wantonly. Seeing that the primordial spirit of the heavenly demon god in the first tailbone was about to be completely devoured by the wordless heavenly book, the heavenly demon god's eyes revealed an extremely frenzied expression. "Even if I die, I won't let you off so easily. And, let's die together." The heavenly demon god roared loudly. It was like a thunderclap. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook violently. The 9 huge tailbones actually trembled at the same time. 9 black shadows of the heavenly demon god appeared. Each of them was roaring at the sky with an extremely frenzied expression in their eyes. They seemed to have formed a mysterious connection with each other. A vast and terrifying power seemed to be about to erupt. Oh no! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He hurriedly activated the wordless heavenly book with all his might. Immediately, the wordless heavenly book split into 9 terrifying shadows and instantly enveloped the 9 tailbones. If the heavenly demon god really wanted to go crazy and self-destruct, the 9-tailed divine formation would not be able to stop him. Boom! At this moment, the wordless heavenly book seemed to have awakened an extremely terrifying aura. 9 ancient runes flew out from the wordless heavenly book as if they contained the mysteries of heaven and earth. They instantly landed on the 9 tailbones. No! The heavenly demon god's eyes revealed an extremely horrified expression as he roared madly. Crack! It was as if 9 heavenly thunderbolts had exploded. The primordial spirit of the heavenly demon god that was suppressed in the 9 tailbones was instantly wiped out. It was not devoured, but directly wiped out. This terrifying power surpassed the supremes and even the deities. It was eternal and immortal, suppressing the chaos. Buzz! Chapter 624. What kind of power is this? Ling Xiao was extremely shocked. He realized that he knew too little about the wordless heavenly book. However, Ling Xiao immediately felt his heart ache. The extraterrestrial demon that he had devoured in the God Burial Cave was about to manifest a powerful secret technique. In the end, he had killed the heavenly demon and used up all his remaining power. This was a huge loss. Ling Xiao's heart ached. It seemed like it was still too much for him to use the wordless heavenly book to devour the heavenly demon with his current strength. Moreover, the consumption of that power was too great. Master, where are my Khanate soul essences? I know that the Khanate soul king is enough. The big radish walked to Ling Xiao and asked for an exorbitant price. Khanate soul king. Don't even think about it. These 9 Khanate soul essences are yours. Don't think that I don't know. With these 9 Khanate soul essences, it won't be long before you become a supreme divine medicine. Ling Xiao glared at the big radish and threw it 9 ordinary Khanate soul essences. As for the Khanate soul king, Ling Xiao planned to refine it into the heaven-devouring sword. The heaven-devouring sword should be able to recover the power of a supreme weapon. The power of a supreme weapon was too terrifying. If Ling Xiao didn't have a supreme weapon, it would be difficult for him to fight against it. The big radish pursed its lips and was a little unwilling. However, when it saw the 9 Khanate soul essences, it immediately beamed with joy and started devouring them. Don't be in a hurry to refine them. Help me and Su Mainyang protect me. I want to cultivate for a while. Ling Xiao said. Although the 9-tailed divine formation had disappeared after the death of the heavenly demon, Ling Xiao had set up a concealment formation and was prepared to cultivate here for a while. Su Mainyang had a mysterious connection with the corpse of the 9-tailed celestial fox and was receiving the inheritance of the 9-tailed celestial fox. Ling Xiao planned to refine the Khanate Soul King into the heaven-devouring sword and then refine the Pearl of the World in one go. He would then break through to the 3rd level of the heaven-devouring secret technique and form the heaven-devouring cauldron. Buzz! An ancient sword that was shining with divine light appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. It was the heaven-devouring sword that he had used in his previous life. The heaven-devouring sword was originally a supreme divine weapon, and it was also a divine weapon that Ling Xiao had personally forged. It was a peerless divine weapon that surpassed even supreme divine weapons. However, the battle 10,000 years ago was simply too tragic. Even the weapon spirit within the heaven-devouring sword had been annihilated. Although the heaven-devouring sword was still incomparably sharp, it lacked a weapon spirit. Therefore, it was at most equivalent to a supreme-grade Dao weapon. Ling Xiao planned to use the King of Innate Essence spirits as the weapon spirit and infuse it into the sky-devouring sword. He would slowly nurture it and gradually restore the sky-devouring sword's power from its previous life. Wang! The heaven-devouring sword slowly floated up. Streaks of dazzling sword light circled around Ling Xiao and began to hum. The Innate Soul King also appeared in the void. Although the Innate Soul King was stronger than the ordinary Innate Soul Essences, it had yet to develop its own intelligence. Under the threat of Ling Xiao, it immediately became obedient. The weapon contains its spirit, the spirit nourishes the weapon spirit is one, the heaven and man are one. Ling Xiao recited the caste god ancient scripture silently. This was a supreme technique to nurture the weapon spirit. Ling Xiao's mouth contained the heavenly law, as if it was intertwined with the void. Streaks of runes appeared around him and began to wrap around the sky-devouring sword and the Innate Soul King. Strands of light appeared between the sky-devouring sword and the Innate Soul King, attracting the two of them to each other. If the sky-devouring sword was compared to the physical body of a martial artist, then the Innate Soul King would be the primordial spirit. If a martial artist did not have a primordial spirit, then he would only be a walking corpse. It was the same for weapons, especially powerful weapons. They must be one with the weapon spirit to be able to comprehend the heart of heaven, contain the heavenly Tao, and explode with earth-shattering power. Wang! The sky-devouring sword trembled even more violently. A powerful sword intent spread out, mysterious and unpredictable. It had a powerful aura that could pierce the heavens. Merge! In the end, Ling Xiao abruptly opened his eyes and let out a roar. Like a sudden clap of thunder, the sky-devouring sword suddenly shone brightly. The Innate Soul King instantly merged into the sky-devouring sword. Rumble! In an instant, lightning radiance intertwined between heaven and earth, and vast heavenly power descended. The aura of the sky-devouring sword instantly surpassed the limits of a Tao weapon, and it started to emit a layer of unparalleled supreme power. In order to upgrade to a supreme weapon, one must undergo the heavenly lightning tribulation. Above the void, flashes of lightning were blazing, and the sea of thunder was churning. Vast heavenly power spread out, and thick lightning bolts, like mountains, came across the sky and struck down on the sky-devouring sword. The heavenly power was vast, and a terrifying sense of danger spread out, shrouding Ling Xiao's heart with a layer of danger. This was the supreme tribulation of a weapon. If one passed it, they would become a supreme weapon. If one failed, they would turn into ashes. Go, welcome the baptism of your new life. Ling Xiao said softly, with a tinge of anticipation in his eyes. The sky-devouring sword, the peerless weapon that had accompanied him to the peak in his previous life, had finally started to shine with its peerless brilliance. Wang! The sky-devouring sword exuded an infinite longing for Ling Xiao, and it was filled with endless joy. Its spirituality grew stronger, and in an instant, it soared into the sky and slashed at the sea of thunder. Boom! A blazing sword radiance cut across the sky like a dazzling galaxy. It contained an unparalleled sharpness, and in an instant, it scattered the lightning radiance in the sky. The sky-devouring sword stood in the sky, and its body was glowing brightly. An unparalleled devouring power spread out, and the sea of thunder and the powerful laws of heaven and earth were swallowed up by the sky-devouring sword like a whale swallowing the sea. When other supreme weapons underwent the tribulation, which one of them didn't last for a long time, and were covered in scars. In the end, they could receive the baptism of heaven and earth, and become a supreme weapon with supreme might. In front of the sky-devouring sword, so what if it was a supreme tribulation? I'll slash it with my sword. Wang! An unparalleled fluctuation spread out, and a vast sword will burst out. The void trembled, and heaven and earth rumbled. The sky-devouring sword fell from the sky, and with infinite longing, it landed in Ling Xiao's hands. Holding the sky-devouring sword tightly, a feeling of blood connection spread out. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly, and at this moment, he felt an invincible belief. Even if the heavens were to block his path, he could slash it with his sword. Master, this sword is very strong. Big Radish exclaimed. It could feel a mysterious power from the sky-devouring sword. It was a divine substance, and it exuded an immortal aura. After fusing with the Khanate Spirit King, a supreme weapon might not be the limit of the sky-devouring sword. In the future, it would be a peerless divine sword. Ling Xiao was very satisfied. The sky-devouring sword turned into a stream of light, and instantly flew into Ling Xiao's Dantian Qi Si. Ling Xiao began to nurture it with his blood essence, true qi, and primordial spirit. Chapter 625. Time to finish the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. With that, Ling Xiao sat down cross-legged. The land of the fallen gods was a place where few people ever came, and the Heaven Wind Gorge was a place filled with danger. Ling Xiao had set up a concealment spell formation, so he was confident that no one would come here. Whiz! Dazzling golden light shone out of Ling Xiao's chest as the heaven-devouring golden lotus floated up into the air. The next step was to form the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. The King Heaven Devourer Cauldron could devour anything, including the Tao motes of paragons, consummate god weapons, and other precious treasures. In fact, Ling Xiao could use the cauldron to absorb quintessence, energy, and soul, life force quintessence, and even the destiny of top geniuses. The heaven-devouring secret skill was a skill that stole good fortune from heaven and earth. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had only been able to form the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron after reaching the paragon level. With the power of a paragon, even true dragons would have to flee in the face of the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron. World Pearl. Space Crystal. Time to assimilate them. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The heaven-devouring golden lotus swallowed the pearl of the world that the nine-tailed celestial fox had given him, as well as the space crystal that he had prepared beforehand. Rumble. Powerful spatial fluctuations rolled out in all directions. Within the heaven-devouring golden lotus, an endless amount of chaos chi permeated the air. It was as though a scene of the creation of the heavens and earth had appeared. An incomparably mysterious space gradually appeared within the heaven-devouring golden lotus. Golden light spread out as the previously perfect heaven-devourer golden lotus turned into a golden liquid, which then formed into a three-legged, two-eared cauldron. It was the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron, shining with multicolored light and mysterious magical laws that made the cauldron seem even more majestic. The profundities of the Heaven Devourer's secret skill were revealed in Ling Xiao's mind, and the world around him became a mysterious energy flow that reduced all living things to the tiniest of particles. It was as if Ling Xiao were touching the essence of the world. The King Heaven Devourer Cauldron slowly began to spin, and as the world pearl was absorbed, it began to emanate spatial magical laws. As of this moment, Ling Xiao was in a state of Tao enlightenment, forgetting everything around him. This is bad. What kind of peerless martial arts is this guy practicing? How can he touch the power of the origin of heaven and earth? Big Radish's eyes were filled with disbelief. It had also been startled just now. As soon as the King Heaven Devourer Cauldron appeared, golden god light shot up, causing heaven and earth to tremble. That divine light was so vast that it might have been seen by the entire holy ground. Although the land of the fallen gods was very dangerous, it was inevitable that people would think that a powerful treasure had appeared in the land of the fallen gods. If an expert were to come here at this time, it would be dangerous. Tui tui tui, my jinx, no one will come. The land of the fallen gods is so dangerous. The heavenly wind tribulation of the heavenly wind canyon isn't something ordinary people can pass through. It's definitely fine. Big Radish guarded Ling Xiao and Su Mainyang with fear and trepidation. It felt like crying but had no tears. Outside Tianfeng Canyon. What is that? Zhang Xuhao's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of surprise. In the Tianfeng Canyon, a blazing divine light shot up into the sky, illuminating the sky of the land of the fallen gods. It emitted a dazzling treasure light, and profound laws of heaven and earth descended. Could it be that a supreme treasure has appeared in this canyon? The eyes of the sixth holy sun and the southern sky king lit up with joy. It shouldn't be. This kind of law has surpassed the peak of the human Tao. It should be the law of the divine Tao. I guess that bitch might have found the legacy of the nine-tailed celestial fox. Zhang Xuhao's eyes flashed coldly as he said slowly. Although he knew that the legacy of the nine-tailed celestial fox was in the land of the fallen gods, he didn't know that it was in the Tianfeng Canyon. He didn't expect that Ling Zhao's King Heaven Devourer cauldron would lead them to the right direction. The legacy of the nine-tailed celestial fox. Then let's go. Ling Xiao should be here. The sixth holy sun said slowly. Although the Tianfeng tribulation in the Tianfeng Canyon was terrifying, the sixth holy sun and the southern sky king both had supreme weapons. The sixth holy sun's god king shroud flew out, exuding a powerful paragon's aura that enveloped everyone, and they quickly entered the Tianfeng Canyon. Zhang Xuhao and the others entered the Tianfeng Canyon. With the protection of the supreme weapon, they were unimpeded. It didn't take long for them to reach the concealment formation that Ling Xiao had set up. Formation, huh? It's not an ancient formation, but an ordinary concealment formation. Zhang Xuhao's eyes flashed sharply. A mere concealment formation? Watch me break it. The sixth holy sun's eyes flashed with a hint of arrogance. Whiz! The God King shroud flew out, and black blood-colored runes spread out. The void in front of them shattered like a mirror, revealing a primal chaos void. A 10,000-meter-tall skeleton floated in the void, with Su Mainyang and Ling Xiao sitting cross-legged below it. Only a big radish stood vigilantly in front of Ling Xiao. It's really the nine-tailed celestial fox. The black-robed old man behind the sixth holy sun said slowly with a hint of shock in his eyes. The 10,000-meter-tall skeleton and the ferocious aura of a divine beast made everyone look serious. Su Mainyang was obviously receiving the nine-tailed celestial fox's inheritance. On the other hand, a three-legged, two-eared cauldron floated in front of Ling Zhao's chest. It looked simple, round, and mysterious. The mouth of the cauldron spewed out red clouds that shot into the sky. It turned out that the huge commotion was caused by Ling Xiao. Who are you? This is the nine-tailed celestial fox's seclusion ground. If you don't want to die, get lost. When the big radish saw these people, it knew that they were not friendly. It complained in its heart, but it still pretended to be arrogant. The nine-tailed celestial fox's seclusion ground? Hee, the nine-tailed celestial fox has been dead for countless years, right? There's no trace of the nine-tailed celestial fox's primordial spirit here. Little thing, don't bluff. Zhang Xuhao said with a sneer. You are the legendary great bright King Ginseng? The black-robed old man stared at the big radish. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. His eyes were filled with excitement as he said loudly. What? Zhang Xuhao, the sixth holy sun, and the South Sky King were shocked. They looked at the big radish with greed in their eyes. Great bright King Ginseng, the great bright King Ginseng. These few words were enough to make a supreme being go crazy, let alone them. What are you trying to do? I'm not the great bright King Ginseng. I'm just a big radish. If you don't leave, the nine-tailed celestial fox will definitely destroy you. The big radish denied immediately. It was about to cry in its heart. Why hasn't Ling Xiao woken up yet? These guys don't look like good people, and now they're eyeing it. Misfortunes never come singly. At this moment, the big radish's heart was filled with endless resentment towards Ling Xiao. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.